Chapter 121, Ningrongrong's Third Brother. That's right, our seven-treasure glazed tile school is the richest sect, Ningrongrong said proudly. The main gate was trimmed in pure gold, and 18 glazed Pixiu statues stood guard on either side. Crystal lotuses floated across the surface of the moat. Every detail announced the wealth of the seven-treasure glazed tile school. Only because the sect was so powerful could Nine Treasure City belong to them without being coveted by everyone. Ningrongrong led the group to the main gate. 4 guards manned the entrance. As the city of the seven-treasure glazed tile school, Nine Treasure City was critical, so inspections were strict. "Miss," an older guard called respectfully when he saw Ningrongrong. She nodded slightly. "These are my friends. We're returning to the seven-treasure glazed tile school. Miss, please come in. The sect master will be very pleased to know you're back." The guard escorted them through. The other 3 guards took a good look at Ningrongrong too, an image to remember. You never knew when recognition would be useful. They'd heard stories of people promoted for looking after the eldest miss and her boyfriend. Maybe they could curry favor as well. Instead of going straight to the sect, Ningrongrong took everyone sightseeing in Nine Treasure City. The city had 2 main spots, the Nine Treasure Glazed Tile Central Plaza and the Nine Treasure Commercial Street. The Central Plaza was the city's heart, its stonework studded with crystal. At night, the ground glittered like a sky full of stars. In the center stood a faceless statue holding a 9-treasure glazed tile pagoda. "Who is that?" Xiao Ze asked. "That's our founding ancestor of the 7-treasure glazed tile school," Ningrongrong replied. "We don't know her true appearance or even her gender, so the statue is just this. If Rongrong became a god, maybe she'd be the one beside her," Meng Yuran said with a smile. Ningrongrong found the thought amusing, starting her own family tree, putting herself and Xiao Ze into it. The idea made her grin. They moved on to 9-treasure Commercial Street. Every shop sign was glazed. Most shops were run by the 7-treasure glazed tile school itself. The Liuli Business Association had its largest branch here. After all, this was 9 Treasure City. The school was famous across the continent for being astute in business. Shops sold everything from spirit bones to food. Ningrongrong took the girls to Linglong Pavilion, a high-end jewelry shop. The place was exclusive. Entry required financial verification and a threshold of 100,000 gold coins. The poor need not apply. "Eldest miss," a young woman in a cheongsam at the door, hurried over. Everyone at Linglong Pavilion knew Ningrongrong. Recognizing her was practically the first lesson new staff learned. As Ning Fengji's only daughter and the sect's most favored, her status went without saying. Add to that Ningrongrong's talent and the protection of 2 super Douluo grandfathers, and she was practically invincible in their eyes. "I want something for my sisters," Ningrongrong said, leading them in. "No problem. Our new collection just arrived, and there's a prized piece in the store waiting for the eldest miss," the young woman said, opening a glass case. Inside rested a tear-shaped starry blue sapphire. Under the light, it seemed to hold a flowing Milky Way. A ring of 9 moon-white diamonds circled the base like tiny stars. The chain, woven mithril and star-patterned gold, was as fine as a hair, yet incredibly strong. "Eldest miss, this is the Tears of the Star River," the attendant explained. "It's one of our treasures." "Let me see it," Ningrongrong said. She took the necklace. Her eyes lit up. "Xiao Ze, do you think it looks good?" she asked. "Any necklace looks good on you," he replied. So perfunctory. Her lips twitched, pleased nonetheless. "Put it on me." Xiao Ze handled the chain carefully. The staff exchanged surprised glances. So the eldest miss really had a boyfriend. The man was handsome enough to attract attention. A few of the female employees watched him with interest. Still, Ningrongrong didn't seem jealous. Perhaps he was just exceptional. Xiao Ze came up behind her, his arms circling her neck. Ningrongrong felt his warm breath and involuntarily shrugged, that ticklish, intimate closeness. "Don't move," he said, smiling as he settled the necklace into place. The Tears of the Star River fell perfectly at the hollow of her collarbone, as if made for her. The gem seemed alive, tiny lights swirling inside it like a galactic vortex. "So beautiful," Ningrongrong whispered. "It's lovely, but the wearer is even lovelier," Xiao Ze murmured. "When did you get so smooth?" she laughed. Learning, he said, rubbing his nose. Girls, look around and pick whatever you like. Take it, Ningrongrong said generously. The other girls didn't hesitate. Ningrongrong could afford it. Smiles spread across the attendants' faces. Their month's bonuses often depended on sales to the eldest miss. Normally, they earned a 5% commission, but when she bought something, the commission could multiply fivefold. Some people had even retired to Heaven Dew City after getting rich off her purchases. After Linglong Pavilion, they headed to the Liuli Business Association. A group of attendants in white stood at the entrance. One of them turned and, though not strikingly handsome, carried a gentle, refined air that suited him perfectly. Third brother, Ningrongrong called out, eyes bright as she waved. Rongrong. He smiled and hurried over. He was warm and familiar, easy to be around. Let me introduce you all, Ningrongrong said. This is my third brother, Ning Song. Chapter 122, Invincible Martial Spirit. Hello, you must be Rongrong's friends, Ning Song said. Brother, this is my boyfriend, Ningrongrong said shyly, looping her arm through Xiao Ze's. It was the first time she'd introduced Xiao Ze like that in front of her family. She hadn't even said it that plainly to their father last time. Ning Song went momentarily blank. His eldest sister had a boyfriend? Since when? Hello, brother-in-law, Xiao Ze offered his hand. Hello, Ning Song replied, taking it. He looked Xiao Ze over. The young man was certainly good-looking enough for his sister, but looks weren't everything. Still, that wasn't his concern. His father would handle family matters. Third brother, what's your spirit power level? I'm already a spirit elder, Ningrongrong said with a pleased smile. That fast? Ning Song's surprise returned. Really? Yeah, all thanks to Xiao Ze, she answered. Ning Song gave a wry smile. Well, you know my talent isn't great. My spirit power is probably about where yours is now. He'd been born with a level 4 spirit, and with the 7 treasure glazed tile spirit, a support-type spirit, progress had always been slow. He was 6 years Rongrong senior, but their natural gifts were worlds apart. He'd already taken up managing the Liuli Business Association's affairs. It's fine. Ningrongrong glanced at Xiao Ze. Xiao Ze nodded and took out a spirit tool storage device, handing it to Ning Song. Brother-in-law, there are some good things in here to help your cultivation. They'll speed things up a lot. Ning Song accepted it, curiosity piqued. He'd seen the spirit grains his father bought before. They did speed cultivation. Could they all have come from his sister's husband? It seemed likely. If not, his father might have intervened last time to separate them. The fact they were still together suggested his father approved. Impressive. All right, I'll accept it, Ning Song said. The Liuli Business Association in Nine Treasure City was the main branch, and Xiao Ze had bought even more resources for cultivating the elves before leaving. They all arrived at the foot of Liuli Mountain together. The peak looked like a giant natural crystal, throwing rainbow light in the sun. In truth, it was a mountain of special stone, natural, though how the founders of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School had discovered it was anyone's guess. It suited the school perfectly. The mountain had been carved into tiered terraces, each rimmed with white jade railings and inlaid with glazed tiles that shimmered in the light. At the gate hung 5 gilded characters, 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. On either side stood twin statues of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile Pagoda, each topped with a glazed bead that caught the sun. Young miss. 2 guards came forward to salute when they saw Ningrongrong. Where's my father? She asked. He's in the main hall. Good. Ningrongrong led them in. They stopped in front of the main building, a 9-story glazed pagoda, crystalline and translucent, dozens of meters high and glittering in the sun. That's the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School's main hall, shaped like the 9 Treasure Glazed Tile Pagoda, Ningrongrong said. It's magnificent, Xiao Ze said. The base alone stretched 50 meters across, the ground encrusted with crystals that rippled with patterns when walked upon. Coming here was an eye-opener. This was a sect with a foundation centuries, even millennia in the making, something ordinary forces simply couldn't match. The resources invested in a building like this could bankrupt even the Heaven Dew Royal Academy. Dad, Ningrongrong called as she pushed open the main hall doors and saw Ning Fengji seated with 2 elder grandpas. Grandpa Sword, Grandpa Bone. She rushed over. Rongrong. Bone Douluo Gurong moved forward first. He'd been the only one who hadn't seen her off last time, and he'd missed her terribly. Grandpa Bone, Ningrongrong said, hugging Gurong's arm sweetly. Xiao Ze, you came too. Ning Fengji rose, nodding toward Xiao Ze. Uncle Ning, Xiao Ze greeted. Ning Fengji noticed the 4 other women behind Xiao Ze. A man who'd seen enough of life's entanglements, he understood at a glance they were all part of the entourage. If his daughter had brought them here, then there was no problem. He didn't want to meddle. Xiao Ze seemed a good match. Dad, guess why I came back today? Ningrongrong asked, hands clasped behind her back. What, has your strength improved? Ning Fengji smiled. You only guessed one right. I'm a spirit elder now. Ningrongrong's pride shone. What? That fast? Ning Fengji was taken aback. The last time he'd been to see her, she'd only been a breath away from spirit elder. Now, a few months later, she'd reached it, faster than he'd expected. Even with Xiao Ze's wheat, this pace was surprising. Yes, level 32, Ningrongrong added. Rongrong, your talent is incredible, Gurong said, rubbing her head. Is there any other news? Tell me everything. Your father can handle it, Ning Fengji urged. For the second thing, look at my spirit. Ningrongrong summoned her 8 treasure-glazed tile pagoda. Gurong started counting aloud, more out of habit than anything. 1 layer, 2 layers, 3, 7, 8. 8 layers, Ning Fengji's voice wavered on the last word. 8 layers. Chenxin and Gurong echoed together. 8 layers, her spirit had evolved. It meant Ningrongrong's 8 treasure-glazed tile pagoda had awakened. Rongrong, your spirit evolved? Ning Fengji's hands planted themselves on her shoulders. His voice was hoarse with emotion. That's right. My spirit evolved not long ago. It was all thanks to Xiao Ze, Ningrongrong said, eyes shining. The 9 treasure-glazed tile pagoda was the lifelong goal of their school. Without Xiao Ze, no matter how talented she was, advancing to the 8 treasure form would have been extremely difficult. Ning Fengji turned to Xiao Ze. My son-in-law, how did you manage this? Xiao Ze blinked. Son-in-law? The title caught him off guard. Dad, be serious, Ningrongrong scolded softly, pinching the man's waist to make him coherent. Ning Fengji stifled his excitement with a couple of coughs and smoothed his demeanor, though his hands still trembled behind his back. Uncle Ning, it's just like the weed I bought from you last time, Xiao Ze explained. Ning Fengji's expression shifted into sudden realization. So you used it to cultivate your spirit? That's right, an invincible spirit, Ning Fengji exclaimed, voice full of awe. Chapter 123, The Inherited Soul Bone of the 7 Treasures Glaze Sect. Ning Fengji's sigh met with no objection from Sword Douluo, Bone Douluo, or Ningrongrong. It truly was invincible. Take the 7 treasure-glazed tile pagoda, for example. Its amplification was phenomenal, but its drawback was brutal. Once bound to it, one could never reach Spirit Douluo rank. The 9-hearted Sea Heart was similar, but Xiao Ze's spirit was absurdly powerful. Not only could he cultivate an unheard-of number of miracle crops, his personal combat strength was far from weak. Calling him invincible wasn't an exaggeration. Uncle Ning, it's not that exaggerated, Xiao Ze said, humbly. No, it's your planting ability that's invincible, and on top of that, your combat power is strong, Ning Fengji said, shaking his head seriously. Dad, when my spirit evolves into the 9 treasure-glazed tile pagoda someday, our sect should change its name. Ningrongrong clenched her small fists in excitement. Haha, don't talk about changing names. By then, you'll be the sect master. Ning Fengji laughed heartily. Hehe, and look at my spirit rings. Ningrongrong already felt smug imagining her spirit and spirit rings crushing everyone. 3 purple spirit rings gently manifested at her feet. 3,000-year spirit rings? Ning Fengji and the others were shocked and puzzled. Those rings were fixed in age. Could their age really increase? Ning Fengji chuckled. Your wise son-in-law must be behind this. That's right. Ningrongrong hugged Xiao Ze's arm, face full of pride. Ning Fengji had already promoted Xiao Ze to second only to Sword Douluo in importance. His spirit truly defied norms. Ning Fengji wanted, half-jokingly, to lock him up and force him to plant forever. Of course, he couldn't actually do that. If it could be bought, money would solve it. The 7 treasure-glazed tile sect had everything to sell but money. Most of their spirit bones had been acquired with coin. Wherever spirit bones were sold, someone from the sect was there. The gold spent on this had been nearly limitless. My wise son-in-law, will you sell these crops? Ning Fengji asked eagerly. Anything that improved their resources would be a huge boon. The wheat Xiao Ze had provided before had been extremely effective. Dad, these crops are rare. We don't even have enough for ourselves, Ning Rongrong scolded gently. She was right. The yield of those 3 beans was low, though enough to cultivate a dozen people. Ning Rongrong simply couldn't part with them easily, not even for her father. Since she planned to marry Xiao Ze, she felt she had to think for him. It was already generous of her not to hand over the entire 7-treasure glazed tile sect. Right, then forget it. If you're keeping them yourselves, fine. Ning Fengji didn't push. Spirit evolution and spirit ring age increases were both incredibly valuable. If those crops also yielded plentifully, that would be too much to believe. Du Yan and the others admired Ning Rongrong for putting Xiao Ze first. They weren't jealous. If she became his main wife, she deserved it. Uncle Ning, while those crops can't be sold, others can be. Some of them have also greatly improved in quality. Their effects will be even better, Xiao Ze added. Good, good. I'll discuss it with you later. Now I need to take Rongrong to do something, Ning Fengji said. Ning Rongrong was surprised. Dad, what is it? You'll know when the time comes. But have you really thought things through? Xiao Ze has a lot of women around him. I thought about it long ago. Besides, aren't you the same? Ning Rongrong rolled her eyes. Ning Fengji was a little embarrassed. That was to ensure our Ning family's direct line didn't fade. Who told your grandfather to have only me? The number of direct descendants suddenly dropped. Then Xiao Ze's the same. He's an orphan and needs to strengthen the Xiao family. Sigh. Do as you wish. A daughter who marries out is like spilled water, and you haven't even left yet, Ning Fengji muttered. Hey! Ning Rongrong laughed. Soon they arrived at the ancestral hall. Dad, why are we here? It's not the day for offerings, is it? Our sect also has inherited spirit bones, Ning Fengji said, picking up an incense stick and starting to worship. Ning Rongrong bowed with him, eyes wide. Why did you never tell me about this? This is known only to the sect master. Each inherited spirit bone is over 50,000 years old and is particularly suited to the 7-treasure glazed tile pagoda spirit. If your spirit hadn't evolved, I probably wouldn't have told you until after you became sect master, Ning Fengji added. He pressed a stone behind the ancestral tablet, and a large secret door creaked open. Ning Rongrong watched, astonished. There was even a hidden passage. Let's go. Ning Fengji led the way. Spirit lights along the walls lit up as they passed, and they entered an exquisite chamber. The room was spacious and simple, with just 3 pedestals. 2 held spirit bones. Both bones glowed with a glazed sheen. One was a skull, the other a torso bone, both extremely rare parts. Our sect has 3 inherited spirit bones in total, Ning Fengji explained. Not all spirit bones over 50,000 years are inherited bones. Only those over 50,000 years old that are most suitable for our pagoda spirit are considered inherited spirit bones. Our sect has lasted so long, and yet there are only 3. Where's the third? Ning Rongrong's mouth watered. They were all treasures, and if she could take them, her strength would soar. Ning Fengji's mouth twitched at his daughter's greedy expression. She was unreliable in such matters. It's with me, he said. Every sect master of the 7-treasure glazed tile sect can absorb one. After death, the spirit bone must be returned. Can I take one now? Yes, otherwise I wouldn't have brought you here. It's been passed down by word of the sect master that, besides each sect master receiving one, any spirit master, whether direct or collateral line, who can raise their spirit to the 8-treasure glazed tile pagoda can also absorb one. So after I become sect master, I can get another. Ning Rongrong's eyes shimmered. Yes. Then, Dad, can you abdicate now? She asked with a smile. Those were 2 spirit bones over 50,000 years old. No, don't get ahead of yourself, he said, sounding half annoyed. Chapter 124, Phantom Star Glazed Crown's Skull. Ning Fengji looked at the 2 spirit bones. These 2 spirit bones, one is a 60,000-year-old skull and the other a 70,000-year-old torso bone. Both are powerful, but I still recommend you take the 60,000-year skull. Ning Rongrong eyed him suspiciously. You're not being stingy, are you? You have a 70,000-year torso bone, and you're giving me the 60,000-year skull instead? Ning Fengji felt like spitting blood. Was this really his daughter? Why did she always leak his thoughts? Ridiculous. Do you think I'm that kind of person? Besides, with your current cultivation, that torso bone will still belong to you later on, he said, annoyed. That's true. Ning Rongrong rubbed her head. Then why this skull? This skull is the phantasm's star-glazed crown. Nobody even knows which spirit beast it originally came from. It's that old, and it's already been passed down for nearly 100 years. The phantasm star-glazed crown has 2 passive effects and 1 spirit ability. All 3 are very useful to you right now. Ning Fengji paused, then grabbed Ning Rongrong by the neck as she reached for the spirit bone. She giggled foolishly. Listen carefully. Okay. The 2 passive effects are a 50% increase to your mental force and a link to your spirit that reduces spirit ability consumption by 30%. Both are crucial for you. The mental force boost will help you practice heart separation control and resist mental-type spirit masters. Later, when you get more spirit bones, you might gain mental attack spirit abilities too, which would combine well. And the consumption reduction is obvious. Our 7 treasure glazed tile pagoda's spirit abilities eat a lot of spirit power. Ning Rongrong nodded. The 2 effects were indeed excellent for her current situation. Heart separation control was a unique technique of the 7 treasure glazed tile school, divided into stages: 3 aperture governing heart, 4 aperture constant heart, 5 aperture dispersing heart, 6 aperture wishful heart, and 7 aperture exquisite heart. Each stage determined how many spirit abilities could be controlled simultaneously and how many times they could be released at once. At 7 aperture exquisite heart, one could manipulate 7 spirit abilities at once to support 7 targets, and with enough mental force, one could boost tens of thousands. Ning Rongrong's spirit power had risen, but she'd neglected heart separation control. She was still only at 3 aperture governing heart, far from 4 aperture constant heart. What about the spirit ability? She asked. The spirit ability is called Star Radiance Decoy. When you take a fatal hit, it automatically creates a glazed clone to absorb the damage, and your main body teleports to a safe spot within 50 meters. It has a 3-day cooldown. In short, it's a life-saving ability, perfect for a support spirit master. I'll take it. Ning Rongrong's heart leapt. Boosting others mattered, but surviving mattered first. No one could support others if they were dead. Take it and absorb it here. Okay. Ning Rongrong cradled the phantasm star-glazed crown and, ignoring the dirt, sat cross-legged. She used her spirit power to draw the spirit bone to her head. Ning Fengji watched with a smile. If Rongrong could one day evolve her spirit to the 9 treasure glazed tile pagoda, he planned to remove the spirit bone from his own body. It wouldn't weaken him much. He wasn't a titled Douluo, and limb regeneration was easy as long as you had enough money. Boy, how strong are you? Gurong asked Xiao Ze. Xiao Ze blinked and answered modestly, Not bad, not bad. Chenshin twitched at the corner of his mouth. Kid, you knocked down Yu Tianheng with your fists and you call it not bad? Chenshin didn't say anything. This old man was definitely going to test him. Last time they'd been busy with crops, so no one had commented on Xiao Ze's strength. You should know, Gurong continued, that the 7 treasure glazed tile pagoda spirit masters of our school need companions who can fight, either attack-type spirit masters or spirit masters with real combat power. No offense to Rongrong, but she's the young mistress of the school. I know. Xiao Ze didn't know where Gurong was going with this. Then it's simple. You and I will spar. I want to see whether you can protect Rongrong. Your spirit is unusually strong and produces many special effect seeds, but if you can't actually fight, I won't be at ease with her following you. Gurong said it seriously. Xiao Ze wasn't offended. Gurong had always doted on Rongrong, so his concerns were natural. Okay, Xiao Ze agreed. Let's go somewhere secluded. I won't take advantage of you. I'll only use the strength of a spirit elder, Gurong added. Mengyaran and the others weren't worried. At the same cultivation level, Xiao Ze's combat power was unmatched. So many elves of the same spirit power were no ordinary match for normal spirit masters. They went to an empty training ground, cleared out by Chenshin. Gurong and Xiao Ze faced each other 100 meters apart. I've suppressed my spirit power to your level, Gurong said. Gurong's spirit was Bone Dragon, outstanding defense and spatial skills. On Xiao Ze's right hand, black soil slowly appeared, a kind of spirit Gurong had never seen. Then 3 spirit rings, purple, purple, and black, materialized beneath Xiao Ze's feet. Gurong's pupils contracted. This was excessive. Even if crops could boost the apparent age of spirit rings, having a 3rd spirit ring at 10,000 years old was outrageous. His face darkened. Chen Xin was only slightly surprised. This was within expectation. Bone Douluo, are you sure you don't want to increase your spirit power? Xiao Ze asked once more. No. Gurong was principled. Despite Xiao Ze's terrifying-looking spirit rings, he trusted his own strength. Xiao Ze was still young. How much could he truly have? All right, the match begins, Chen Xin called. Gurong's 2nd spirit ring flared beneath his feet, and his spirit power condensed into a solid bone armor that wrapped his body. Xiao Ze calmly summoned his 3 bean elves, Luvdu Glazed, Chikai, and Qingluv. So it's a summoning-type spirit. Gurong charged forward. Qingluv, use Luvdo Barrage. Qingluv swung her staff, launching 3 energy Luvdo toward Gurong at high speed. Get lost! Gurong punched, shattering the first 2 energy Luvdo. When the 3rd slammed into his right fist, his body shuddered and he stalled in place. Chapter 125, The Competition Between Gurong and Xiao Ze. Gurong felt the sting in his fist. Although his spirit power had been suppressed to the level of a spirit elder, his body was unchanged, and he still wore his bone armor, and it still hurt. Ridiculous. It ignores defense? He asked. That's right. It ignores defense, Xiao Ze replied. Interesting. Gurong said nothing more and charged again. His speed was frightening, but with only his first 3 spirit abilities available, Gurong lacked spatial powers, something Ningrongrong had already told Xiao Ze about. Bean Glazed Tile Buff. 4 beans fused with the bodies of Qingluv and Chi Kai, granting them the 4 buffs of attack, defense, speed, and spirit power. From their auras, they already looked like spirit ancestors. Chen Xin tightened his grip. The bean-glazed tile reminded him of the 7-treasure glazed tile pagoda, only this one had 9 layers and functioned as a buff, similar in concept, even if different in form. Chikai swept out a red blade from the center of his right hand. Gurong met it with a bone-spiked fist. Bang! Chikai's body shook and he was driven back several steps, but he took no lasting damage. Gurong's physical body could not be sealed, which was why he had insisted on lowering his spirit power. Chikai launched into Red Lotus Charge, flames bursting across the ground. As Gurong prepared to dodge, Qinglev acted. A phantom law book descended from above and fixed Gurong in place. Not good. He found himself unable to move and braced his arms in front of him. Chikai slammed into him, knocking him back, then slashed horizontally into the bone armor on Gurong's chest. Sparks flew like metal on metal. Spiderweb cracks spread across the bone plating. It was close to shattering. Amazing. Their coordination is very good, Gurong thought. He had already formed a general picture of Xiao Ze's strength, formidable and reliable. Protecting Rongrong would not be a problem. The abilities were flashy and effective. The fight could not stop now. Gurong's 3rd spirit ring flared at his feet, and an invisible pressure rolled outward, staggering Xiao Ze for a moment. Even Qinglov and the beans were stunned. As Gurong moved in, Xiao Ze recovered. 8 spider lances appeared and blocked Gurong's path. External spirit bone. Gurong's surprise was plain. This kid had actually acquired an external spirit bone. Xiao Ze ignored his reaction. His 2nd spirit ring lit up, and Chikai became a beam of light that sank back into Xiao Ze. A sword and shield materialized in Xiao Ze's hands. He slashed at Gurong. Gurong countered. The two closed into a fierce melee. Clang! Clang! Fists and blades met in an unending rain of metal on metal and flying sparks. Sweat beaded on Gurong's brow. This opponent's combat skill was no joke. The sword and shield work, the spider legs, the seamless coordination, all of it was impressive. How old was he to be this accomplished? His future was limitless. Xiao Ze's attacks kept rising in intensity. After each punch, Gurong's hand went numb. Chikai's core mechanism, fighting intent, was at work. When the stacks were sufficient, Chikai's combat power surged. Qinglev waved her staff and a green energy link flowed into Xiao Ze, accelerating his spirit ability use and spirit power recovery. Qinglev then withdrew toward the bean-glazed tile. Tracking, armor-piercing energy beams fired from her staff. Every time Xiao Ze attacked, more of those energy beams appeared, a constant, aggravating threat for a lone fighter. Sensing the danger, Gurong tried to pull back, but Xiao Ze followed up with a shield bash and drove into him. Gurong took the shield on his chest, recoiled, and the bone armor across his body cracked and shattered. Xiao Ze paused, stunned by the force of the impact. Gurong rubbed his chest. That really hurt, he admitted. Bone spikes reformed on his right fist and shot out, tearing apart all the incoming energy beams. Seeing that, Xiao Ze's spirit power flared into a blood-red inferno. The accumulated fighting intent stacks exploded into a berserk burst, Chikai's blood frenzy. Xiao Ze's attack power, attack speed, movement speed, and lifesteal were all increased. His giant shield flowed like molten iron, reshaping into a second greatsword. The two blades whirled together in a deadly dance. His pupils took on a faint red tint, but his mind remained clear. "Take this," Xiao Ze shouted. The twin swords crossed in a crushing grip, and, powered by the beam-glazed tile and blood frenzy, his speed spiked. In an instant, he was in front of Gurong. Gurong had no time to evade and could only raise both hands to block. Under the impact, the ground beneath him collapsed in a patch. "So strong. Is Xiao Ze really this powerful?" Mengyuran murmured. "I don't know. Xiao Ze has never truly unleashed his full strength, not even now. He can summon a total of 12 elves," Zhu Qing said quietly. Chen Xin, a super Douluo, caught that remark, and his pupils tightened. 12 elves, far more than a normal summoning system soul master. That was a terrifying advantage. Xiao Ze spun and slashed again. The sword wind ripped through Gurong's robes and exposed the pale dragon bone armor beneath. Bang! "Good thing I used my second spirit ability in time. You almost cut me," Gurong laughed. "Xiao Ze, Grandpa Bone, what are you two doing?" Ning Rongrong's voice floated from behind. The two stopped, sharing a tacit understanding. "Nothing, I just had an itch, so I sparred with this kid," Gurong said with an awkward chuckle. "Grandpa Bone, how old are you? Besides, you sparring with Xiao Ze is practically bullying him." Ning Rongrong stepped forward and put herself between Xiao Ze and Gurong, shielding the young man. Gurong grinned wryly. "You've hardly even married, and you're already taking his side." Inside, he thought, "I was almost cut just now." Ning Fengji stepped up beside Chen Xin and asked, "Sword Uncle, how was it?" "Unclear, unknown, unfathomable," Chen Xin replied. Hearing that, Ning Fengji understood. Xiao Ze's strength was indeed formidable. Rongrong had found a truly worthy son-in-law. She had impeccable taste. Chapter 126, Bad Guy. "All right, it was me who wanted to spar with the senior," Xiao Ze said, pulling Ning Rongrong back. "Don't do that again. If Grandpa Bone hadn't held back, it would have been dangerous," Ning Rongrong whispered. Gurong blinked. "All right, Rongrong, take them to rest." "Okay." Ning Rongrong led Xiao Ze and the other two out of the training ground. Ning Fengji watched them go, a little speechless. "Rongrong might just be carried away. She's in love," he said, trying to explain. Sigh. "I never thought our 7 treasure glazed tile school's little witch would turn into a girl who protects her husband," Gurong murmured. "Ha ha, it's better than when she used to cause trouble everywhere," Ning Fengji said. He really did think Ning Rongrong had changed for the better since she started seeing Xiao Ze. "That's true," Chen Xin agreed. "She's not as cute as before," Gurong pouted. "You're just jealous that Rongrong's protecting Xiao Ze instead of you," Chen Xin teased. Gurong snorted coldly. "Then you'll have something to cry about when she does." Chen Xin fell silent. Maybe it really was a little intimidating, but there was nothing he could do. Ning Rongrong led them to her house. As the eldest young lady of the 7 treasure glazed tile school, she had a proper residence with many rooms. "There are plenty of rooms. Pick one. They're all clean," she said, flopping onto the sofa. Xiao Ze sat down awkwardly. Ning Rongrong rested her head on his lap. He pinched her cheek fondly. "What did Uncle Ning want with you? If you can't say, forget it." "It's nothing much. He gave me a spirit bone inherited by our school," Ning Rongrong said. "A spirit bone?" "Yeah, a 60,000-year-old skull. It raised my spirit power by 5 levels. Xiao Ze brightened. A 60,000-year-old spirit bone, especially a skull, was incredibly rare. My spirit bone is only a little over 8,000 years old. Yours is 60,000. That's amazing. Hey, who told you I'm just the young lady? And I only got it because of you, Ning Rongrong replied, turning her face into his stomach and taking a deep breath. How so? She told him the whole story. So when you become sect master, you can get another spirit bone? That's right. Amazing, isn't it? She said proudly. You've got 2 of the rarest spirit bones, Xiao Ze said, still pinching her cheek. Ning Rongrong's skin was the most hydrated among all the girls. No matter the same skincare, hers always seemed naturally dewy. Of course. The last rays of sunset filtered through the glazed window. Ning Rongrong idly toyed with Xiao Ze's clothes. A mischievous glint flashed in her eyes. She lifted his shirt, revealing his defined abs, and without warning bit him with an "Awu." Ouch, are you a dog? Xiao Ze frowned. It didn't hurt much, but her tiny sharp teeth pressed at his skin, leaving an oddly ticklish numbness. He gently pushed her away. Naughty. Ning Rongrong didn't sulk. She lifted her face and grinned, a tiny bit of drool at the corner of her mouth. Ha, your physique keeps getting better. Her smile was sweet and goofy, impossible to be angry at. Xiao Ze pinched her nose. Then why isn't your physique getting better? She puffed her cheeks. Are you looking down on me? It's not as dramatic as Ju King's, but it's not small. Okay? Xiao Ze laughed. All right, no more comparing. Humph. Ning Rongrong huffed softly and secretly vowed to find a secret recipe to see if she could make herself a little better. Night fell like ink. Xiao Ze lay on the bed watching the last light disappear. A few stars came out, then more, stitching the sky with pinpricks of light. His first day at the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School had shown him the difference between the upper 3 sects and the outside world. Luxury everywhere, and spirit masters who carried themselves differently. He didn't feel inferior. In fact, he felt stronger. He had more than one advantage now, and the future seemed wide open. After the spirit guide lamp was extinguished, the room plunged into darkness. Xiao Ze's breathing slowed and evened out. 10 minutes later, the door creaked open, and a small dark shape slipped in on tiptoe. She moved with practiced care, avoiding the slippers on the floor. By moonlight, she found the bedside and looked down at Xiao Ze, sleeping with a satisfied little smile. She lifted the quilt and slipped in like a kitten. Ning Rongrong was about to reach for his waist when a pair of bright eyes quietly opened and watched her. She froze, then forced an awkward smile and withdrew her fingers. It's a habit. Xiao Ze opened his eyes fully. This isn't home. If your father found out, you might be fine, but Uncle Ning would chop me up. No, don't worry. No one will come here, she said, hugging his waist. Besides, if we get caught tomorrow, you'll take the blame. Leave it to me, she added, rearranging his arm under her head and pressing half her body against him. Xiao Ze felt the softness of her, very comfortable, and reached to hug her back. His hand slipped down and landed on her butt. He squeezed once, twice. Ning Rongrong trembled, her delicate face flushing scarlet. Naughty. This is your punishment, Xiao Ze said, completely unembarrassed. No one could see them. The god of agriculture, who resided in his spiritual sea, wouldn't notice. Xiao Ze could close his spiritual sea at will, and that god had no power to pry when it was closed. Ning Rongrong knew exactly what he'd done. She pressed her face into his arm, utterly red. Bad guy. Chapter 127. In exchange for heart separation control. I had been spending the last few days at the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. Today was my final day there. Xiao Ze and Ning Rongrong went to find Ning Fengji together. Uncle Ning, I want to make a deal with you, Xiao Ze said. Ning Fengji set his book down. Oh, what kind of deal? I want to trade for the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School's heart separation control. Ning Fengji's expression froze for a moment. He recovered and said carefully, Xiao Ze, you know heart separation control is an inherited secret technique of our school. Even the spirit masters in the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile Pagoda can't learn it casually. I know. I want it for my own use, so my summoned beasts can learn it. Can that even be done? Ning Fengji was stunned. He couldn't imagine what those summoned beasts would become with heart separation control. Xiao Ze explained, I think it's possible. Heart separation control is basically an advanced way to split attention and manage multiple tasks. If my spirits can learn it through study, their combat ability would improve a lot. They could coordinate and release multiple skills more effectively. Sui Hua could control her rice stalk illusions much better. For me personally, using heart separation control with the 8 spider lances would be incredible. Each lance could attack from a different angle. Could an enemy even block all 8? If you want heart separation control, just ask me. I know it, Ning Rongrong cut in. Ning Fengji's mouth twitched. He silently scolded his daughter. Be sensible. He didn't think Xiao Ze would try anything dishonest, but he still couldn't give away a school secret that easily. Rongrong, you're not the sect master now. You can't decide this. Go play somewhere else, Ning Fengji added, trying to send her off so he wouldn't lose ground. As a successful businessman, he wanted to get the best deal possible, but he also knew their families were close enough that he couldn't be outrageous. Ning Rongrong huffed and wandered aside. After she left, Ning Fengji regarded Xiao Ze more seriously. If it were anyone else, it would be impossible. But since it's you, what are you offering in exchange? As crops that can evolve spirits, they can help Uncle Ning's spirit evolve to the 8-treasure glazed tile pagoda level. Ning Fengji's breathing quickened. For decades, he'd been stuck at level 79. Without his spirit's breakthrough, he'd been held back from reaching titled Douluo. An opportunity for spirit evolution was tempting, but he tried to remain calm. Compared to reaching the 8-treasure level, I think heart separation control is more important. Rongrong is already at that level. Raising my spirit wouldn't help her much. Xiao Ze tried not to grin. Ning Rongrong suddenly called out, Dad, don't be greedy. If you keep this up, when I become sect master, I'll hand the school over to Xiao Ze. Ning Fengji cleared his throat. Don't be dramatic. Xiao Ze felt both amused and moved. Rongrong was clearly protective of him. He continued, Uncle Ning, I can also provide crops that can increase the age of spirit rings. That could raise the first 2 spirit rings for you and the 2 grandpas to 1,000 years. Those crops were rare. Their yield was far smaller than wheat or rice. Even with a modest plot to cultivate them, supplies would be limited. Ning Fengji thought for a moment, then nodded. Deal. 1,000-year spirit ring is a huge improvement over a 100-year one. Ning Rongrong breathed a sigh of relief. She didn't know precisely how many crops Xiao Ze had, but she understood they were scarce, and the fewer people who knew, the safer Xiao Ze would be. Don't mention Xiao Ze when you talk about the crops, Xiao Ze added. I'm not an idiot, Ning Fengji replied. But your spirit rings won't be hidden. Sword Douluo and Bone Douluo are fine. They have good perception. No problem. I've developed a pill that can hide the apparent ages of spirit rings. You can refine pills now? Ning Fengji asked, surprised. My pill refining's not amazing, Xiao Ze said modestly, but it's enough. Soon Sword Douluo and Bone Douluo arrived. They had already been told what was happening. Xiao Ze produced a pill, and the 3 of them inspected it. It's a good pill, Ning Fengji said after a moment, impressed. You have more skill than you admit. Xiao Ze swallowed the pill. The 3 spirit rings on his body changed color, yellow, yellow, and purple. Can you 2 see their true ages? He asked. Chen Xin nodded, then shook his head. I can tell the spirit power fluctuations don't match the visible colors, but we can't see through the color change. Bone and I are combat-oriented Super Douluo. Our mental force isn't that strong. If a spirit master with powerful mental force, or a limit Douluo, looked, they'd likely detect it. Still, the pill's effect is impressive. Xiao Ze nodded. I understand. Looks like I still have more research to do. He was satisfied. This level of concealment was already excellent. In Douluo Dalu, mental system titled Douluo were rare, and there were only a few limit Douluo. He might not encounter anyone who could immediately see through it. Besides, he had the god of agriculture at his back, so handling the crop supply wouldn't be a major problem. Chapter 128, Teacher Rongrong's Teaching Journey. This is our 7-treasure glazed tile school's heart separation control. For the specific cultivation method, you can ask Rongrong. Rongrong will teach you. Ning Fengji took a book from a spirit tool and handed it to Xiao Ze. Understood. Xiao Ze took the book. Give it to me. I'll teach you well. Ning Rongrong snatched it back with a grin. Got it, Xiao Ze laughed. Be serious. From now on, call me Teacher Rongrong. Ning Rongrong pretended to be stern. Xiao Ze couldn't help but smile. Yes, Teacher Rongrong. Ning Rongrong liked playing the part. It was oddly amusing to her. Ning Fengji watched them and smiled too. As a father, he wanted Rongrong to marry someone she loved. and Xiao Ze seemed perfect. He teased himself about whether the sect would end up surnamed Ning or Xiao in the future, though that was a problem for another day. He earnestly hoped the first child of Xiao Ze and Rongrong would carry the Ning name, and the second one wouldn't be an issue either. At least one person must inherit the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. Ning Fengji planned to talk to Xiao Ze about it later. All right, you've been at the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School long enough. You can head back now. Ning Fengji waved them off. Ning Rongrong, who had already taken a huge haul of cultivation resources from the school treasury, didn't hesitate. She grabbed Xiao Ze and left. Xiao Ze gave a polite nod to Ning Fengji and the others as they left, sensing the awkwardness of the situation. That afternoon, they returned to Heaven Do Royal Academy. Finally back. Ning Rongrong collapsed on the sofa, completely relaxed. You still look tired, even though you've been eating and drinking and haven't been cultivating, Xiao Ze said as he sat and rubbed her head. That's different. I brought back a lot of resources this trip. I feel a bit guilty. Ning Rongrong rested her head on his lap. The other girls sat nearby and the room filled with a pleasant scent. For a moment, Xiao Ze felt like he was in a garden. Uncle Ning is really lucky to have a daughter like you, Xiao Ze said with an amused smile. And anyway, the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School will be mine one day. Compared to the crops you gave them, these resources are nothing. Ning Rongrong shook her head. The girls chuckled. A married daughter is like spilt water, one teased. You're not even married in yet. Exactly. I saw Schoolmaster Ning's face these last few days, always so gloomy. No wonder he sent us back. Xiao Ze, let me teach Sui Hua and the others heart separation control, Ning Rongrong said. Aren't you tired? I'm not tired when I'm at home. She smiled. All right. Xiao Ze was curious to see the cultivation method for heart separation control. You can watch if you like, but don't teach it to others, Ning Rongrong warned, glancing at Ye Lingling and the rest. Understood. Even without saying it, they wouldn't sell out the secret. Heart separation control was a core technique of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, too valuable to give away. You all get ready at the training ground. I'll fetch some cultivation tools. Ning Rongrong struggled up from Xiao Ze's lap and left. Xiao Ze wasn't sure what tools were needed for heart separation control, but he knew Rongrong was about to reach the 4-aperture constant heart, so she must have a method. Let's go see how Teacher Rongrong teaches, he said, smiling. Okay. Everyone was curious. At the training ground, Xiao Ze summoned all 12 of his generals. When Meng Yiran and the others saw the assembled spirits, they erupted in admiration. With a summoning system soul master like this, which spirit master could beat him? Not only could masters of the same realm struggle against him, sometimes even a spirit king might not be a match. The spirit's strength matched Xiao Ze's, and their combined combat power was frightening. Ning Rongrong arrived carrying a jade box. Rongrong, what's in that box? Du Guyan asked. Tools for cultivating heart separation control. Ning Rongrong opened the box. Inside were glazed beads, red, blue, and gold. Can glazed beads be used for cultivation? Du Guyan asked skeptically. Of course. The essence of heart separation control is multitasking, precisely adjusting and ensuring that the amplification target, strength, and timing of each spirit ability operate independently. Precise control of your spirit power and mental force is crucial. Even if you never use heart separation control in combat, practicing it will vastly improve your control over spirit power and mental force, which benefits everyone. Everyone perked up. Improved control meant using less spirit power to achieve greater effects. Even future cultivation would be more efficient. Heart separation control was clearly worth learning. As for practice, it's basically about multitasking and regulating spirit power and mental force. Glazed beads are a very effective training tool. I'll show you. Ning Rongrong smiled, then gently tapped the box. 3 glazed beads floated up, 1 red, 1 blue, 1 gold, each tracing a different, precise path through the air. The red bead flew in a straight, arrow-like line with lightning speed and no deviation. The blue bead traced an elegant infinity symbol, gliding smoothly. The gold bead spiraled upward, each loop controlled to the exact height. Everyone watched in stunned silence at how easily Ning Rongrong managed 3 separate, stable trajectories. So amazing, someone breathed. Truly impressive. That's like doing 3 tasks at once, with stability. Xiao Ze felt a pinch of surprise. He'd taken a lot of tea leaves and sorghum to bolster his mental force, sorghum to purify mental force like purifying spirit power, and tea to enhance it, but neither could compare to having actual spirits. Still, after long-term use, his mental force wasn't weak. It came close to that of a mental system spirit elder. Ning Rongrong's demonstration made it clear just how powerful and useful heart separation control could be. Chapter 129, The Talents of the Elves. One must understand that Xiao Ze was not a mental system spirit master. His innate mental force was weak, typical for non-mental system spirit masters. That wasn't necessarily a fatal flaw, but against a mental system spirit master, it could be a serious disadvantage. Fortunately, mental system spirit masters were rare, so most spirit masters didn't worry much about it. Xiao Ze had never met one, though he suspected they would become more common in the future. The more complex the bead's trajectories, the better it trains precise control of spirit power and mental force. Ning Rongrong put the 3 glazed beads away. Want to try? Sure. Xiao Ze was curious. He lifted the 3 glazed beads into the air with spirit power, fixed his mental force on them, and began to mimic Ning Rongrong's movements. The red bead shot out in a straight line, but too fast, and smacked Ning Rongrong on the forehead. "Oh, Xiao Ze, that really hurts." Ning Rongrong rubbed her flushed forehead and complained, "Sorry, an accident." Controlling a single glazed bead was easy. Coordinating 3 was tricky. The blue bead traced only half an infinity symbol before wobbling and colliding with the returning red bead. Both tumbled to the floor. The golden bead spiraled midway, then veered off diagonally as his spirit power faltered. This is harder than it looks. Seeing Xiao Ze fail, the other girls tried as well, and fared worse. Their mental force simply wasn't strong enough to match Xiao Ze's. Ning Rongrong smiled indulgently. This is only the basic training. There's a harder exercise. She took a small table out of her spirit tool. On it were teacups, sheets of white paper. Ning Rongrong drew circles with her left hand, wrote the 4 characters, 7 treasure glazed tile with her right, tapped the floor in a steady rhythm with her feet, and at the same time released her spirit power. 3 independent air currents formed. 1 lifted a teacup and kept it steady, 1 flipped pages of a book at an even pace, and 1 fanned her hair gently. Her precision in controlling both mental force and spirit power was remarkable. Is this heart separation control? Just 1 mind used 3 ways. How powerful would the peak 1 mind, 7 uses be? I don't know, Ning Rongrong said. I only know my father reached the 7 aperture exquisite heart. Once his spirit power stopped needing cultivation, he had to refine heart separation control. It took him more than 10 years to reach 7 aperture exquisite heart. Then, Rongrong, if your spirit evolves to the 9 treasure glazed tile pagoda, will you gain 2 more spirit abilities? You could push your 7 treasure glazed tile school's heart separation control further. That actually sounds nice. If that happens, Ning Rongrong might leave a name in the 7 treasure glazed tile school. She laughed. Is evolving to the 9 treasure glazed tile pagoda really enough to leave a name? Duguyan teased. It could be. Ning Rongrong, suddenly serious, produced a ruler from her spirit tool. Stop talking and train properly, or else, crack, hiss! Xiao Ze clutched his backside. Rongrong, what are you doing? Or else you'll get hit like Xiao Ze. Hurry up and cultivate. Ning Rongrong turned her gaze on Sui Hua and the others. They hesitated. Understood, Sui Hua said, and led her younger siblings to practice immediately. Ning Rongrong beamed. Teaching suited her. She felt pleased. Xiao Ze and the others put on a show and trained as ordered. The elves learned far faster than the humans. Sui Hua, in particular, the only legendary quality elf, was astonishingly talented. In just 1 afternoon, she had almost mastered a single mind used 3 ways. Even Ning Rongrong was surprised. She hadn't learned that quickly herself, not even after gaining a skull that significantly boosted her mental force. She pushed away a chair. Rongrong, where are you going? Someone asked. To break through my 4-aperture constant heart, otherwise I won't be able to teach your elves properly. Xiao Ze laughed. She's fired up, Duguyan nodded. No wonder. Her secret technique, something she's practiced since childhood, was nearly matched by Sui Hua in an afternoon. That must sting. Yilingling agreed. Your elves are really talented, Xiao Ze. Not just Suihua, the others are progressing faster than us. We're no match for summoned creatures. Meng Yuran smiled wryly. Same here. I can't even keep up with my own summons. Xiao Ze felt helpless. His innate level 2 talent was limited, but he had his tricks, the summoning system. As long as his summoned elves were powerful, his own fighting strength mattered less. What mattered most was surviving. Life settled back into study and cultivation. Xiao Ze divided his time between alchemy and heart separation control, which demanded much practice. 3 days later, he walked straight to Old Man Wang's shabby blacksmith shop. Old Man Wang. He pushed open the door. You brat, can't you knock? Old Man Wang scolded from his wooden chair. You've recovered your strength, but you're neglecting this shop. What's there to look after? I'm not short on money. As long as I stay strong a few more years, that's enough. I can't forge offensive or defensive spirit tools, Old Man Wang warned. What do you need? It's for a friend. Her birthday's coming up. I want a coronet. Old Man Wang chuckled. A coronet? For a girl, right? She's my future main wife. Xiao Ze nodded earnestly. You'd better be studying more instead of making her your main wife already, Old Man Wang teased, but his tone had a hint of envy. 7 treasure glazed tile school, huh? Upper 3 sex material. Xiao Ze smiled. It's all right. Chapter 130. Ning Rongrong's birthday. Then I'll design it for you. It's been a while since I last made a spirit tool. Old Wang rose slowly. All right, thank you, Old Wang. When can I pick it up? Rongrong's birthday is in a few days, Xiao Ze asked. 1 day will do. This kind of spirit tool is very simple, Old Wang said. Very well, then this will be my payment. Xiao Ze produced a handful of spiritual herbs and medicines. They were old, potent, and would help Old Wang recover his spirit power. So many. You don't have to. Old Wang waved a hand. Consider it resources from one friend to another, Old Wang. Xiao Ze smiled. You brat, trying to butter me up? Old Wang chuckled. Maybe. Xiao Ze grinned. Never mind. If you need any spirit tools forged in the future, come straight to me. Old Wang was getting old and didn't want to join any faction. I've got plenty of time. All right, I won't be polite then. Old Wang didn't refuse. Their relationship had grown close. Xiao Ze had saved his future, and Old Wang felt obliged to return the favor. As long as the jobs weren't impossibly difficult, Old Wang would help Xiao Ze, even if it meant doing something as extreme as murder. Repaying kindness was one of the few virtues he still clung to. After leaving the blacksmith's, Xiao Ze didn't go straight home. He walked to the pastry shop he'd rented out. It was Rongrong's birthday. There had to be a cake. There were no cakes in this world, so he would have to make one himself. Fortunately, he'd done this before. The shop was empty. Xiao Ze fetched all the ingredients he'd gathered over the past few days. Many things were missing in this world, so preparing a cake had taken extra effort and time. He had already planned the cake's design, a tower shaped like the 9 treasure glazed tile pagoda. He divided the batter into 9 portions and baked them in circular molds of descending sizes to form the pagoda's tiers. When the layers came out of the oven, he flattened them carefully. The aroma was irresistible. The batter wasn't ordinary. He'd flavored it with Ningrongrong's favorite scent. Between each tier, he spread a thin layer of raspberry jam and cream, then inserted chocolate dowels into the center for support so the tower wouldn't lean. This kind of structural baking required intense concentration. It would have been difficult to finish otherwise. Next, he prepared 3 colors of frosting: deep purple, ice blue, and pale gold, colors reminiscent of the 9 treasure glazed tile pagoda, if not exact reproductions. He covered each layer from the bottom up, smoothing the edges and trimming the excess. Using a fine needle, he etched the pagoda's patterns into the fondant. To recreate the glazed tile sheen, Xiao Ze mixed pectin with a touch of pigment and brushed it gently over the fondant to give a glossy, tiled texture. He affixed sugar beads and rock candy as jewels across the surface. At the cake's base, he arranged small, atmosphere-enhancing pieces, miniature spirit figures, to set the scene. Phew, finally finished. Xiao Ze wiped sweat from his brow. It had been exhausting. This was the first time he'd attempted such a complex cake. He carefully placed the tower inside a spirit tool for safe transport and returned to the villa. Xiao Ze, why were you out so long this morning? Ning Rongrong asked from the sofa. Nothing much, just went for a walk. Xiao Ze hoped to keep the surprise. He wasn't especially suave with feelings, but he could deliver a surprise when needed. Oh, Ning Rongrong had almost forgotten her birthday. In the past, her father and two grandfathers had celebrated it, but since being with Xiao Ze, her days were so happy, she sometimes lost track of the date. Seeing that she suspected nothing, Xiao Ze relaxed. Nearby, Meng Yuran and the others exchanged knowing nods. They all knew Xiao Ze was planning something special, and they were quietly envious, comforted by the thought that their own birthdays would be just as well remembered. The next day, Xiao Ze picked up the crown old Wang had forged. It was crafted entirely from mithril and intricately engraved. The metal was translucent like crystal and glowed faintly when spirit power was channeled through it. 9 gems were set into the crown, the largest in the center, like a glazed heart that refracted a halo of colors depending on the angle. On each side of the crown, ultra-fine metal wires supported miniature hollow spirit ring designs. They looked delicate but were exceptionally strong, unbreakable unless deliberately destroyed. Silver tassels wove around the piece, each tipped with tiny crystals. Small 9-treasure glazed tile pagoda charms hung down on both sides of the forehead area like tiny earrings. "How is it?" old Wang asked. "It's perfect. Beautiful." Xiao Ze was surprised at the level of craftsmanship. "I didn't expect you, old Wang, to design something this delicate." "Humph. In my day, folks lined up all the way around Heaven Dew City to have me make spirit tools. My designs beat those in Gangsan City by a mile." Old Wang puffed up with pride. "Thank you, old Wang." Xiao Ze bowed slightly. "Off you go, you brat." Old Wang laughed and waved him away. 2 days later, Dugu Yan and Ye Lingling went straight into Ning Rongrong's room and pulled out her princess dress. Ning Rongrong lay on the bed and watched them pacing around her room, bewildered. "What are you two doing? Come on, Rongrong, get up and put this on." Dugu Yan smiled, laying the dress across the bed. "Why do I have to wear this today?" Ning Rongrong still didn't understand. "You'll see soon. Don't you want to know what surprise Xiao Ze prepared for you?" Ye Lingling asked. Hearing Xiao Ze's name, Ning Rongrong's eyes lit up. "All right, I get it. Come on, hurry up and come out." Duguyan and Ye Lingling left the room, leaving Ning Rongrong alone with the dress. Chapter 31. Ning Rongrong's Touch. What kind of surprise could Xiao Ze have for me? Ning Rongrong buzzed with anticipation. She slipped out of her pajamas, revealing the pale, flawless skin that had long been envied by others. Her figure was striking, her bust as full as Juju King's, almost exaggerated, yet her complexion, which might darken in the sun, always returned quickly to its usual fairness. She stepped into a custom silver-blue, gradient starry sky dress and admired herself in the full-length mirror for a moment before opening the door and heading downstairs. It should have been bright in the main hall, but it looked dim. Ning Rongrong frowned. Had no one opened the curtains? As she reached the first floor and drew near the main hall, the darkness was suddenly banished by a soft wash of spirit light. Tiny starlights drifted down from the dome like a cascade, hanging in the air as if she had stepped into a sea of stars. Silver-blue petals carpeted the floor. Each step felt like walking on clouds. In the middle of the dreamy glow sat a meticulously crafted cake shaped like a 9-treasure glazed tile pagoda. Its surface shimmered with iridescent colors, each tier studded with tiny gemstone sugar beads that glittered under the lights. "Rongrong, today is your birthday. Happy birthday." Xiao Ze stood beside the cake, holding a matching 9-treasure glazed tile pagoda hair ornament. Behind him, Juju King and the others waited with warm smiles, each holding a gift. Ning Rongrong's breath caught, her eyes grew glossy, her lashes trembling as she blinked back a sudden haze. She pressed her lips together, fingers unconsciously clutching the fabric of her skirt. The crystal accents on her dress chimed faintly with her movements. "So today is my birthday. When did you prepare all this?" Her voice was softer than usual and a little unsteady. "That's not important, my Princess Rongrong. Come, let me put this on you." Xiao Ze moved close and gently set the hair ornament in place. Ning Rongrong's skin looked like snow, smooth and jade-like, catching the light with a gentle sheen. Today her face was especially refined, but the redness at the corners of her eyes gave her a touch of fragile beauty. Her nose was small and slightly upturned, her lips naturally rose-colored like cherry blossoms. Long hair flowed down to her waist like a dark waterfall threaded with tiny glints of light. A few loose tendrils curled mischievously at her forehead. The dress hugged her waist and billowed down in layered skirts that seemed to spill like a galaxy. A silver chain with 9 ice blue gems circled her waist. "Does it look good?" Xiao Ze asked. Ning Rongrong lowered her head, a little shy. "It's beautiful, but Rongrong, use some spirit power to activate the headpiece." "All right." When Ning Rongrong focused a flicker of spirit power into the ornament, a soft glow ran over her crown, turning the halo of light into something almost celestial. "So beautiful," Duguyan breathed. The other girls nodded in agreement, unable to hide their admiration. Ning Rongrong could no longer hold it back. A tear slipped down her cheek. Xiao Ze reached out and wiped it away gently. "Today is your birthday. Don't cry. Okay?" She sniffed, then smiled brightly, though tears still shone in her eyes. Come see the cake I made for you." Xiao Ze led her forward. Ning Rongrong had assumed the pagoda would be a mere decoration, but a faint sweet scent told her otherwise. "It's a dessert. You should like it," Xiao Ze said, handing her a small knife. "Cut the cake." "Do I really have to?" "It's so pretty." Ning Rongrong hesitated. "You have to. It's for eating. If we don't cut it now, it'll go bad." Reluctant to waste it, she took a deep breath and sliced into the top tier. She plated a piece, and Xiao Ze offered some encouragement. "Come on, try it. I haven't tasted it myself yet." "It'll be delicious," she said, confident in his skills. Ning Rongrong picked up a fork, nibbled a small corner of the slice, and let it melt on her tongue. Her lashes fluttered. Mmm. A soft gasp escaped her, and the corners of her mouth lifted. She unconsciously licked her own lips. As the cake dissolved, her eyes curved into delighted crescents. She set down her fork and cupped her face with both hands. The headpiece and dangling earrings chimed lightly. "This is amazing. It's soft and fluffy, sweet but not cloying. Just perfect." Xiao Ze smiled and leaned in to wipe the bit of cream from the corner of her mouth. "As long as you like it. You could learn to make this with me later. Cake making is different from cooking. It doesn't need the same precision." Mmm. Ning Rongrong nodded enthusiastically. She didn't flinch when Xiao Ze touched her. She was used to moments like this, often crashing into his room late at night and falling asleep there, so her shyness had faded. "Everyone, eat," she said, waving. She cut generous slices for the others. Really good. The texture is unlike anything I've had. It is tasty, and those sugar crystals on top add a nice crunch." All the girls devoured the cake and praised it. Xiao Ze watched them with a pleased expression. Suddenly, Ning Rongrong flicked her finger and smeared a dab of cream onto his face. Xiao Ze froze, then touched his cheek. It was white cream. Ning Rongrong giggled like a child. "Silly girl, don't mess around. Your dress and headpiece are so pretty. Don't dirty them," Xiao Ze said with a wry smile. "So, student Xiao Ze," Ning Rongrong teased, eyes bright and playful, "can you just stand here and let me play?" Chapter 132, The Evolution of the Women's Martial Spirits. Some time had passed since Ning Rongrong's birthday. Today was another important day. One of the girls' spirits was about to evolve. Early that morning, Xiao Ze and Ning Rongrong sat on the sofa while Du Guyan, one of the 4 girls, calmly munched on soybean products. It's coming. I can feel it," Du Guyan murmured, her pretty face flushing with excitement. Her jade-scaled serpent spirit unfurled, coiling around her. Its serpent eyes glowed a sinister green, and its scales gave off a cold, poisonous gleam. Then the serpent convulsed. Its outer scales split and fell away like shattered porcelain, revealing new blue-gold scales beneath with a metallic luster, so different they hardly looked like snake scales anymore. 2 sharp, bony protrusions swelled on its head, tearing through flesh and forming a pair of coral-like horns. Drops of blood at the horn tips corroded the floor, hissing into green smoke. "Oh no, my floor!" Ning Rongrong cried, wincing at the corroded tile. "It's okay. Yan Yan Jie will redecorate later," someone teased. "But is Yan Yan Ji turning into a dragon? Even dragon horns have appeared. I don't remember the jade-scaled serpent emperor having horns," Ning Rongrong said. "It must have evolved into a different spirit. Looks more like a jade-scaled flood dragon," Du Guyan replied. "From serpent to flood dragon. Maybe later it can evolve into a true dragon. Its quality will be higher than the jade-scaled serpent emperor." After all, even the weakest dragon-blooded spirit was superior to ordinary spirits. Dragon bloodlines were exceptional. Just then, a familiar figure appeared in the doorway. Grandpa Douluo. Douluo stared at his granddaughter in bewilderment. What is this? Yanyanji's spirit is evolving right now. Grandpa Douluo, try to control yourself for a moment. Spirit evolution? Douluo's face shifted from surprise to uncontained joy. He hadn't expected Xiao Ze to really be able to trigger Yanyan's evolution. Proudly, his majestic spirit power surged out and formed a small barrier around them, isolating Douluo from the outside. The jade-scaled flood dragon roared, a cry with a hint of dragon thunder, making Douluo's barrier shudder and ripple. No venom sprayed outward. Instead, the poison condensed into a jade-green cloud that hovered around the dragon. As its tail lashed, the air tore and left green afterimages. Then the flood dragon's form condensed and sank back into Douluo. Douluo blinked, and seeing Douluo lit up. Grandpa, my spirit evolved. I saw it. Good, good. Douluo beamed. I don't know exactly what your jade-scaled serpent became, but its power rivals my jade-scaled serpent emperor and even carries a touch of dragon might. It should be a jade-scaled flood dragon now. A jade-scaled flood dragon, serpent to flood dragon to dragon, Douluo said excitedly. Maybe Yanyan really has a chance to become a jade-scaled dragon someday. Douluo nodded. She could feel the new strength in her spirit. The spirit abilities themselves hadn't changed names, but their effects were far more potent, the mark of a stronger spirit. Xiao Ze, you didn't disappoint me. With Yanyan following you, I can relax, Douluo said, clapping Xiao Ze on the shoulder. Grandpa. Douluo blushed, a little shy with so many people around. Ha! Why be shy? You're all living together, Douluo laughed. Ugh. Yi Lingling suddenly clutched her chest. What's wrong, Lingling? Douluo asked, concerned. My spirit is about to evolve too. Aha! Douluo's surprise turned to delighted astonishment. He really had arrived at the right moment. Quick, don't suppress it. Let it come, he urged. Xiao Ze's mouth twitched. Douluo was more eager than Lingling herself. His spirit barrier remained in place. Ye Lingling summoned her nine-hearted sea lotus, its petals so pure they seemed like snow, the pistil glowing with a soft inner light. As she stopped restraining it, the petals peeled away one by one, dissolving into motes of light. From the center emerged a jade-like lotus seed. It sprouted rapidly on a stem translucent as glass. 9 lotus leaves unfurled in sequence, each radiating a different color: gold, green, red, yellow, cyan, purple, silver, and black, blending into a breathtaking, multi-hued bloom. In the pistil, a heart of glazed, porcelain-like texture floated, pulsing with sacred, life-giving fluctuations. A fragrance filled the air, so pure and sweet it even seeped through Douluo's spirit barrier. Hiss! It smells amazing. I feel refreshed just from it, Ningrongrong whispered. It's extraordinary. Lingling's spirit is definitely special. Its healing power could become incredible, someone added. Yi Lingling opened her eyes slowly, smiling through a tremor. But as she smiled, the light in her eyes clouded, the corners reddened, and tears gathered. For a long moment, everyone went quiet, unsure what to do. Then she launched herself into Xiao Ze's arms, burying her face in his chest. Her fingers gripped his clothes as if afraid to let go, her shoulders quivering as years of tension finally broke. Suppressed sobs escaped softly. Xiao Ze paused, then simply raised a hand and patted her back. The girls exchanged looks. Everyone knew spirit evolution meant everything to Ye Lingling. The nine-hearted sea lotus, potent as it was, carried a cruel limitation. Only 2 could exist per generation. If the previous generation of spirit masters still lived, a choice was demanded. One must die for a new bearer to exist. Spirit masters lived long lives, and Ye Lingling had borne the loneliness and burden of that rule since childhood. The evolution had lifted that weight. Her tears were not of sorrow, but of relief. Douluo sighed softly. He understood the harsh history of the nine-hearted sea lotus. The girls wanted to move forward and comfort Ye Lingling when suddenly both Juju King and Meng Yuran froze. Their spirits surfaced at the same instant. Douluo's eyes widened. What's happening? More spirit evolutions? Unbelievable. He felt certain now that he had come at exactly the right time. Group spirit evolutions were unfolding before him. Chapter 133. Douluo's 30,000-year-old soul bone. Ye Lingling felt the movement, flushed, and pulled free from Xiao Ze's embrace. She noticed the tear stains on his clothing, pressed her lips together, said nothing, and turned away, though the heat at the tips of her ears gave everything away. Xiao Ze chuckled, and then looked over at Juju King and Meng Yuran. Juju King's Hell Civet spirit began to elongate and shift before everyone's eyes, finally taking the form of a cat-eared girl clad in dark purple light armor. Wow, a spirit evolution that turns a beast into a humanoid? Ningrongrong exclaimed. This is the first time I've seen anything like it, Duguyan added. Aside from Huo Wu at the Blazing Academy, I don't know of any other spirit that changes like this. You don't say. This kind of spirit is indeed rare and mysterious. I wonder if it counts as a beast spirit, Dugubo mused, stroking his chin. It's hard to classify. The current spirit taxonomy is too simplistic. Spirits come in all forms. There are beast spirit and tool spirits, yes, but I've also seen spirits that are parts of the human body. Any of these can become a spirit, Xiao Ze explained. That sounds right. This does resemble the kind of true spirit you mentioned, Dugubo nodded. The cat girl's pupils had become vertical slits of purplish gold, and exotic black patterns extended from the corners of her eyes. Her fingers had developed semi-transparent, shadowy claws. Behind her, 3 tails made of pure shadow swayed. Overall, she was unmistakably a humanoid cat, an odd, striking sight. Xiao Ze hadn't expected Juzu King's spirit to take such a form. It felt less like a gradual evolution and more like a sudden mutation. Doesn't that cat girl look a bit like Ju King? Ningrongrong asked. Now that you mention it, she's pretty similar, maybe 40 or 50% alike in overall vibe, though the eyes aren't the same, Duguyan agreed. Meng Yuran's evolution was less dramatic. Her single-headed snake staff split into 9 heads, the shaft entwined with dark gold snake-scale patterns. Each head was inlaid with a different colored gem. The weapon looked far more imposing now, intimidating even. In a short while, both evolutions finished. Today I've seen something new. 4 spirit evolutions, ha! Dugubo laughed. All right, Grandpa, why are you here? If there's nothing, hurry along. Duguyan waved him away. Dugubo blinked, taken aback. Had he been dismissed so quickly after arriving? His granddaughter was getting bolder by the day. Yan, don't be like that. Grandpa Dugu has something important, Xiao Ze teased, noticing Dugubo's awkwardness and pulling on Duguyan's sleeve. That's right, of course I have something. I came to give Yan a spirit bone, Dugubo announced. A while back, I felt I was about to break through to the 94th rank, so I went to the Star Do Great Forest to train. Unexpectedly, I ran into a 30,000-year-old poison marrow beast. After fighting it, I not only broke through to the 94th rank, I also obtained a left arm bone. Duguyan instantly stepped forward and hugged Dugubo's arm. Oh, Grandpa, you're amazing. A 30,000-year spirit bone? Dugubo's mouth twitched. You weren't just saying that a moment ago? No, Grandpa, you're just old. You misheard, Duguyan replied without missing a beat. Dugubo was speechless for a moment. His granddaughter hadn't always been this forward. He glanced at Ningrongrong. She looked bewildered, wondering why he'd looked at her at all. This spirit bone was always meant for you, Dugubo said to Duguyan. Come on, I'll take you to absorb it. Duguyan waved at the others and left with Dugubo. I didn't expect Dugubo to have that kind of luck. 30,000 years, Meng Yuran commented, a touch of envy in her voice. Spirit bones aren't something you can force. It's all down to luck, Xiao Ze said, unconcerned. Of course you're not envious. You already have 2 external spirit bones, Ningrongrong shot back. Right, some people never even see an external spirit bone in their lifetime, and you've got 2, Ye Lingling agreed. Xiao Ze shrugged. I really don't know either. They just appeared after some casual fights. Beyond the 8 spider lances, the other 2 spirit bones had indeed been matters of luck. He'd also stumbled upon other fortunes, like the god of agriculture and Elder Wang's Qiangkun furnace. He even had a treasure map, acquired along with a spirit tool spatial ring at the very start. If he had the time, he could go looking. Lingling, how did your spirit change after its evolution? Xiao Ze asked. My spirit's healing ability has become much stronger, Ye Lingling replied. Although I'm still a spirit elder, I can heal injuries of a spirit ancestor and even attempt to heal a spirit king. How amazing! Lingling will definitely become the strongest healing spirit master, Ningrongrong enthused. And does your spirit still only have one spirit ability? Xiao Ze asked. One. But now, besides healing, my spirit ability can restore spirit power, remove negative statuses, and even regenerate severed limbs. How versatile, Xiao Ze said, surprised. A powerful healer who could also restore spirit power and dispel negative effects would be first-rate. Limb regeneration on top of that was almost miraculous. On the Douluo Continent, spirit masters who could regrow limbs were rare. If word spread, those who'd lost arms or legs might form a line for healing. After all, a missing limb didn't just reduce combat capability, it inflicted deep psychological injury. What about Juking and Yiran? Xiao Ze asked. My evolution was simple, everything just got stronger, Juking said. All my spirit abilities have increased in power. For example, my first soul skill, Snake Blade, where there used to be 3 blades, now has 9. It's much stronger, and my 10,000 Snake Scepter is more practical now. These 9 heads can even act independently. Meng Yiran's weaponified spirit floated in front of everyone, the 9 snake heads writhing and swimming through the air, an eerie sight. All right, put it away. It's really scary, Ning Rongrong shivered, rubbing her shoulders. Ha! Chapter 134, 10,000-Year Soulbone. Xiao Ze, I'm going home. I want to tell my mother about my spirit's evolution, Ye Lingling said. Do you want me to go with you? Xiao Ze asked. No, it's fine, Ye Lingling shook her head. It's a mother-daughter thing. All right. Xiao Ze felt the moment should be left to them. I'm heading out. Please tell Yan Yan for me. Okay. Ye Lingling left the villa with a bright smile. When Lingling goes back this time, I bet her mother will hug her and cry, Ning Rongrong laughed. When your spirit evolved, why didn't you cry? What, really want to see me cry? Ning Rongrong's hand slid to rest on Xiao Ze's waist. He stiffened. Her touch was practiced and casual. Don't be ridiculous. I don't want you to cry. If you did, I wouldn't know how to comfort you. The last time she cried in front of him had been on his birthday, and he had been utterly useless. Fortunately, it had not been too serious. Ning Rongrong didn't dislike Xiao Ze. She even rather liked him. He had always seemed steady and reliable, even if his circumstances had changed. Rongrong, I'm going into secluded cultivation at the Ice and Fire Yin-Yang Well. Secluded cultivation? Ning Rongrong blinked. How long? At least half a year. I'll come out when I reach spirit ancestor level. Xiao Ze felt he needed to speed his progress. Besides, the Blue-Silver Emperor was trapped in the Ice and Fire Yin-Yang Well. By now, it might even be regaining consciousness. That's too long. I don't want to be away from you that long. Ning Rongrong clung to his arm. Meng Yiran and Juzu King looked surprised that it would take so long. You can still come find me. How long can I hide in a day? Xiao Ze smiled. All right. Ning Rongrong accepted it. The Ice and Fire Yin-Yang Well was perfect for plant-type spirit masters, better even than their simulated training grounds at home. Not long after, Duguyan finished absorbing a spirit bone and emerged beaming. Ning Rongrong noticed immediately. Did you gain a lot, Yan Yan? Not as much as you, Duguyan replied, but I rose 4 levels of spirit power. Congratulations, Yan Yan Jie, your strength has improved. Dugubo laughed. Didn't expect my luck to hold. That spirit bone passed down completely. Where's Lingling? Duguyan asked. She went home. Duguyan nodded. She should tell her mother about the evolution. That's a great thing for the Ye family. Ye Lingling moved with her spirit power and arrived at the Ye residence in a rush. Her breaths came fast and ragged. Lingling, what's the hurry, silly girl? Ye Qingli came forward, saw the sweat on her daughter's brow, and brushed it away. Ye Lingling threw herself into her mother's arms and hugged her tight. Ye Qingli noticed something different in her daughter today. Did someone bully you? Xiao Ze? Ye Qingli's voice was low and anxious, but Xiao Ze didn't seem like someone who would hurt her. No, it's not that, mother. Ye Lingling faltered, and her voice trembled at the end. What happened? Ye Qingli demanded gently. Ye Lingling cupped her hands, and a brilliant flower appeared in her palm. The nine-hearted sea, but transformed, radiant, and unlike anything Ye Qingli had ever seen. This? Ye Qingli froze. The spirit was different, wholly changed. Lingling, your spirit evolved? Her hands trembled as she placed them on her daughter's shoulders. Yes, mother, my spirit evolved. It's no longer limited. Ye Lingling nodded, tears welling in her eyes. That's wonderful, excellent. Ye Qingli's fingers tightened, her voice shaking. Tears came to her own eyes. After so many years, the spirit finally changed. From now on, the Yi family won't have to rely on those old inheritance methods. She hugged Ye Lingling and buried her face against the shoulder that had once been a child's resting place. It took a long time before their emotions calmed. Xiao Ze helped you evolve it? Ye Qingli asked. Yes, he helped me, and Rongrong's spirits evolved too. Ye Lingling nodded. He's a remarkable boy. For helping your spirit evolve, I don't know how to repay him. I'll buy a 10,000-year spirit bone and give it to him myself. Ye Qingli's tone left no room for argument. A 10,000-year spirit bone cost at least 1,000,000 gold coins, which underscored how wealthy the Yi family was. The evolved nine-hearted sea was worth even more than that. As a powerful healing-type spirit with none of the old side effects, if it were passed down, the Yi family could become the foremost healing clan for generations, though it could only be passed down through Ye Lingling. Mother, I understand. If there's a chance later, I'll have your spirit evolve too. Ye Lingling felt a twinge of guilt at the thought of asking Xiao Ze for more. He had already done so much, and added, we can give him more spirit bones to make up for it. Ye Qingli chuckled. I appreciate the thought, but I'm getting old. Whether my spirit evolves or not isn't the end of the world. Don't trouble Xiao Ze. Ye Lingling was surprised. Spirit evolution felt difficult. She had been living on soy-based meals that made her queasy, and Xiao Ze had been preparing different versions to help her through it. But it still hadn't been easy. His supplies of spirit bones weren't infinite. After feeding 6 people, there wasn't much left. She would need to take it slowly. You really think there are that many 10,000-year spirit bones? Otherwise, would the 7 treasure glazed tile school's treasury be overflowing? Ye Qingli pinched her daughter's cheek affectionately. All right, silly girl, since your spirit has evolved, it's time to give you that thing. Chapter 135, The 3 Treasures of the Yi Family. What is it? Ye Lingling asked, suspicious. It's our family's inherited treasures, 3 in total, Ye Qingli replied. One is a 50,000-year spirit bone. I don't know exactly what the other 2 do. I can't use them. A 50,000-year spirit bone, Ye Lingling's eyes widened. 10,000-year spirit bones were rare enough. Anything over 50,000 years was almost unheard of. A normal spirit master, indeed even a 7th-rank spirit master, couldn't absorb such a bone. To obtain one, you usually had to be a spirit Douluo, and there weren't many of those. She had never expected her family to possess something like this. Let's go. Ye Qingli took Lingling's hand and led her into a room she had never been allowed into before. The door, usually locked, opened for them now. Ye Lingling remembered glimpses of the chamber from her childhood, but she had never seen inside as an adult. Stepping into the room, she looked around in confusion. There's nothing here. Don't be impatient. Ye Qingli tapped Lingling's nose lightly, then walked to a patch of wall and pressed a hidden spot. With a grinding sound, 3 pedestals rose from the floor. The tops were tiled, beneath the tiles was glass, and beneath the glass lay 3 objects. One, the spirit bone, Ye Qingli had mentioned, looked like part of a torso. This is a 50,000-year torso bone, Ye Qingli explained. The ancestor who obtained it named it the Life Source Crystal Torso Bone. It can only be absorbed by a spirit master who has resolved the side effects of the 9-heart sea martial soul, so it sat here unused for hundreds of years. Hundreds of years? Ye Lingling was stunned. A spirit bone of that age, and only the family head knew about it. She had never heard of anyone secretly absorbing it. Why hasn't anyone taken it? I've thought about that, Ye Qingli said. Either they knew it wouldn't cure the martial soul's problem, or there was some other reason, but no one has ever absorbed it. The other 2 items looked simple, but Ye Qingli warned they were not ordinary. Ye Lingling leaned in to examine them. One was a seed that pulsed with verdant light, so full of life it hummed. The other was a jade hairpin about 10 centimeters long, with 2 begonia-shaped ornaments hanging from its end, one white and one black. Even without knowing their uses, Lingling could tell they were special. These 3 items, I'm giving them to you today, Ye Qingli said, opening the glass case. What you do with them is up to you. Ye Lingling slipped the seed into her pocket at once. Xiao Ze might know what it was and might need it. Ye Qingli smiled. She already knew what Lingling was thinking. If Xiao Ze recognizes it, tell me. I'm curious. Lingling replied. And this hairpin? Ye Qingli continued. Our family found it long ago. It looks ordinary and seems to have no obvious powers, but anything handed down as a treasure must have a reason. How to use it, I don't know. As Ye Lingling's fingertip brushed the jade hairpin, something unexpected happened. The two begonia ornaments trembled violently. The white bud flared with a sacred silver light, while the black bud exhaled a purple-black mist. The two streams of light collided and began to tear at each other like sworn enemies. Both women froze. Neither had anticipated that reaction. Lingling, it seems only you can use this hairpin, Ye Qingli said, excitement and relief mingling in her voice. It finally showed a sign of life. The two lights twisted and fought for a long moment, then slowly merged into a single glow. Immediately, Ye Lingling felt her spirit power being drained. Her spirit surged uncontrollably. The hairpin floated from the pedestal, and to both of their amazement, drove itself into Lingling's hair, the two begonia ornaments dangling at the back. My spirit, Lingling whispered, her face paling as the last of the drain passed through. Her consciousness remained clear, but she felt hollowed out. Lingling, are you all right? Ye Qingli's own spirit sense had felt the hairpin's pull. She hovered, worried. I'm fine, Lingling said, forcing a small smile. I don't know what it does yet. She pushed her hair gently and felt the hairpin settle in place. But it seems to have recognized me as its owner. Good, we'll study it later and figure it out. Ye Qingli relaxed. For now, keep it, and take the seed with you. If Xiao Ze or Rongrong can identify it, that will be helpful. Lingling nodded. She planned to show both of them as soon as she could. They were likely to know more. Finally, the torso bone. Ye Qingli gestured to the life source crystal torso bone. A 50,000-year spirit bone is rare. A torso bone of that age is even more precious. The life source crystal torso bone has excellent properties, she went on. The records say that after absorption, all healing spirit ability effects increase by 40%. When you heal someone, it also leaves a life mark that grants the healed person a 10% boost to all attributes for a short time. That alone would add a lot to our martial soul as support, Ye Lingling said, thinking of how such a boost could change their battles. There's more. Ye Qingli grew serious. It grants a spirit ability called life feedback. This ability has two major effects. First, once a day, if your spirit power is completely depleted, the life energy stored in the torso bone will automatically feed back and instantly restore 100% of your spirit power. For a healing spirit master, that's priceless. As long as your power isn't totally drained, you can keep healing and keep your allies alive. Second, if you ever fall into a near-death state, an effect called Lotus Heart Nirvana will trigger, consuming some of the spirit bone's energy to extend your life one time. After that, the spirit bone's age will drop by 10,000 years. It can't be used once it falls below 10,000 years. According to the records, this bone was originally 60,000 years old, but the ancestor who claimed it used that Lotus Heart Nirvana once, which reduced it to 50,000. Ye Lingling listened carefully. Both effects were crucial, one a safety net for drained spirit power, the other a literal second life. A spirit bone with both abilities at 50,000 years was extraordinary, likely second only to a 100,000-year bone. Is it yours then? Ye Lingling asked. Yes. Ye Qingli glanced at her daughter. And no, child, I don't need it. I don't go to battle. Besides, it fits you inherently. But with Xiao Ze's help, my spirit power could rise very quickly, Lingling protested, thinking of how fast their training progressed under Xiao Ze. Ye Qingli ruffled her hair. Silly girl, this spirit bone is yours by birthright. I never fought in my life. Artifacts like this are of no use to me. Come on, let's go. I'll take you to absorb it now. Chapter 136, Seed of Life. The next day, Ye Lingling returned to the villa with a smile on her face. Du Guyan, relieved to see her so lively, thought Lingling was back to her old self. Spirit evolution really did wonders. Where's Xiao Ze? Ye Lingling asked. He's making breakfast. Perfect timing, Lingling said. She liked the breakfast Xiao Ze made. On the other side, Xiao Ze set the food on the table. Suddenly, the god of agriculture's voice rang in his ear. Xiao Ze, Your little girlfriend is carrying a semi-divine tool. It's emitting a rich life aura. There was nothing like this yesterday. Xiao Ze froze. A semi-divine tool? Wouldn't that be like his fertile hoe? Where had Yan Yanji gotten such a thing? That hairpin on her head, Ye Lingling said. It's one of the Yi family's 3 heirlooms. It's definitely a semi-divine tool, but I haven't felt any divine force from it yet. It could be man-made. The god of agriculture added, or it might be very old and its divine power has mostly dissipated. It seems your little girlfriend can't use it yet. Xiao Ze moved to Ye Lingling's side. Lingling, are you all right? My mother asked me to thank you, Ye Lingling said. She wants to give you a 10,000-year spirit bone. It's not much compared to spirit evolution, but it's our token of gratitude. You don't have to, Xiao Ze started, though he wouldn't mind a spirit bone. Still, this was Yan Yanji's family business. No, it must be, Ye Lingling insisted. All right. Xiao Ze let it go. If you ever have soybeans, could you give some to my mother? She'll give you a few more 10,000-year spirit bones then, Ye Lingling added. Xiao Ze's mouth twitched. Are they the richest healing family around? Ning Rongrong wandered over. You really have that many 10,000-year spirit bones? No, we don't own that many, Ye Lingling said. But they can be bought. There are so many spirit masters in the world. Someone must have 10,000-year spirit bones. If you can't buy them, it just means you didn't offer enough money. She smiled knowingly. Money solved problems. Ning Rongrong sighed. Your family's rich, all right. That said, Ye Lingling continued, we're still a bit behind the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. The 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School has 3 spirit bones over 50,000 years old, Ning Rongrong said. Duguyan clicked her tongue in admiration. As one of the upper 3 sects, such heirlooms were indeed top tier. The Dugu family had no long-standing inheritances. They only rose after Dugubo became a titled Douluo, and partly because of spirit issues, the family was small and undifferentiated. They were worse off than the Ye family. What about your family's heirlooms, Lingling? If you can't say, that's fine, Duguyan asked. Ye Lingling shook her head. All 3 inherited items are with me. My mother handed them over after my spirit evolved. She reached into a spirit tool and took out a small box. The god of agriculture's voice exploded with excitement this time. Yes, yes, it's definitely it. The seed of life. It's the seed of life. Xiao Ze, startled, asked, what is the seed of life? Suppressing his astonishment, the god of agriculture explained, the seed of life is the seed of the tree of life. The tree of life? Xiao Ze's surprise turned real. He knew of the tree of life, the golden tree Tangsan brought from the Star Do Great Forest to Shrek, the life core of Douluo Star. If someone could merge with the tree of life, they might have a chance to become the plain lord of Douluo Star. You must obtain this seed of life, the god of agriculture went on. If we can cultivate a tree of life, even one not from Douluo Star, it would be invaluable. The tree of life possesses immense vitality. For your cultivation, it could be better than the ice and fire yin-yang well. It might even give rise to highly intelligent life with infinite potential. Most importantly, the tree of life can bestow the status of son of nature. With that status, you'd be favored by the origin of Douluo Star. From then on, while on Douluo Star, things would go your way, and you might eventually have the chance to merge with the origin and become the Plain Lord. He continued, when I was in the Star Do Great Forest, I felt an enormous life force. The tree of life of Douluo Star is within that forest. This seed of life here could be a seed from that tree. Even if it's weaker than its mother, it's still potent. With it, and with future merits and faith, after you establish your own god position, you might leap to first-class god or even god king. Xiao Ze was stunned to hear Ye Lingling offer him something so precious. Duguyan reached out as if to take the box. Xiao Ze slapped her hand away. Yan Yanjie, this seed is really precious. Don't touch it. Hey, Duguyan blinked. Ye Lingling looked toward Xiao Ze. You recognize it? I do. Xiao Ze didn't intend to hide it. If I'm not mistaken, this might be the legendary seed of life. The seed of life? Ye Lingling repeated. I once saw it in an ancient book, Xiao Ze said. The seed of life is the seed of the tree of life, and the tree of life is the core of a planet. It's an existence of immense power. Its value could be higher than 100,000-year spirit bone. Chapter 137, Semi-Artifact. More precious than a 100,000-year spirit bone. The girls all gasped. They might not know much about the Seed of Life, but they certainly understood a 100,000-year spirit bone, something only gained by slaying a 100,000-year spirit beast. There were only a handful of those beasts on the whole Douluo Continent. Even the upper three sects didn't have any. Spirit Hall probably did. This is still a conservative estimate. If the Seed of Life can be cultivated to grow, it would far surpass a 100,000-year spirit bone. It would be an absolute treasure, Xiao Ze said. Then Xiao Ze, you should keep it, Ye Lingling said, closing the box and offering it to him. Xiao Ze froze. Lingling, I said it was precious, didn't I? You really want to give it to me? Of course it's precious, but I don't know how to cultivate it. If I accidentally ruined it, I'd feel like a sinner, even if it hadn't died in 100 years. Besides, it's not of much use to me now. If you take it and cultivate it, maybe we'll both benefit, Ye Lingling said earnestly. Xiao Ze nodded. A tree of life would be invaluable to any spirit master. All right, I'll accept it. He tucked the seed away carefully. This was hope for the future. Xiao Ze, that hairpin on her head is a half-divinity, but it seems depleted of energy and can't be used at the moment. Xiao Ze suddenly reached out and placed his hand on Ye Lingling's head. She started and blushed. Ning Rongrong watched with interest. When had Xiao Ze ever been so forward? Slowly, Xiao Ze lifted the jade hairpin from her hair. Lingling, this isn't just an ordinary trinket, he said. I know, Ye Lingling answered. It absorbed all my spirit power before and then inserted itself into my head. So that's how it is. It looks like this half-divinity has accepted you as its master. That means it was once part of a divinity. Human-forged half-divinities don't usually have that kind of sentience. Before a being becomes a divinity, it may have used many weapons. After ascending, those weapons could be infused with divine force and become half-divinities. Those relics often show true spirituality. The fact that your hairpin can actively draw your spirit power proves its high spirit. It's certainly a divinity's half-divinity, Xiao Ze explained. Wow, Lingling, your family is incredible to have a half-divinity. Duguyan gushed, envious. Ye Lingling hadn't expected the hairpin to be so special. She'd thought her spirit bone was the more ordinary thing in her possession. If a half-divinity has been around for many years, you'll need to nourish it with spirit power daily. One day, it might awaken and grant you real combat power. If you can also find the inheritance ground of that divinity, becoming a divinity could even be within reach, Xiao Ze added. Ning Rongrong, Juju King, and Meng Yiran listened, instantly envious. Becoming a divinity, that was a dream. It's amazing, Ye Lingling murmured, looking at the hairpin. The fact that it can draw my spirit power means it's not broken. A half-divinity is already halfway into the realm of a true divinity. It can't be easily broken, Xiao Ze said. You know so much, Xiao Ze. Our 7-treasure glazed tile school doesn't have this kind of knowledge, Ning Rongrong said admiringly, hands under her chin. Xiao Ze's mouth twitched. Who told them he had a divinity in his head? Actually, I have a half-divinity too. With that, Xiao Ze produced the fertile hoe. This is a half-divinity? Ning Rongrong stared at the battered hoe in confusion. Of course, it should once have been a divine tool, but it was damaged and reduced to a half-divinity. Given time, it might restore itself to a full divine tool. Xiao Ze poured a little spirit power into the hoe. Immediately, it flared with an overwhelming brightness, releasing a terrifying aura that pressed down on the girls. Their breaths caught. Their faces went pale. Ning Rongrong even slumped to the ground. Xiao Ze hastily put the hoe away. It was his first time using it. He hadn't expected its aura to be so formidable. Nonsense. This is my divine king tool. Even as a half-divinity, it isn't comparable to those third-rate divine items, the voice of the god of agriculture boasted proudly from the hoe. Amazing, the girls murmured. The god of agriculture basked in the praise. Xiao Ze pinched Ning Rongrong's nose and helped her up. See now? Don't underestimate it. It really is a half-divinity. Just now, was that the power of a half-divinity? Ning Rongrong's voice trembled with excitement. So amazing. It felt like I might die for a second, someone else said. You'll have your chance, Xiao Ze told them. If fortune favors you, you might even find full divine tools, not just half-divinities. What about my hairpin? Could it have power like that? Ye Lingling's eyes shone. As a healer, if her half-divinity could even approach that strength, it would make her formidable beyond imagination. It may not be exactly like mine, but it won't be far off, Xiao Ze said. And since it recognized you as its master, you're clearly very compatible. Just wait and see. Ye Lingling replied, smiling as she held the jade hairpin close. Chapter 138, as thick as the rolling pin at home. A few days later, Xiao Ze and his group arrived at the Ice and Fire Yin-Yang well. Oh, why are you here? Douluo asked. He was on guard duty at the well. After all, this place was a unique, heaven-defying formation and needed to be watched carefully. Grandpa Douluo, I plan to cultivate in seclusion here for a while, Xiao Ze said. Good idea. Cultivation here gives twice the result for half the effort. Douluo nodded, then glanced at Douluyan and the others behind him. As for you, among you only this girl, Lingling, might be able to train here. Hey, we just came to keep him company, Ningrongrong said with a smile, hands clasped behind her back. Fine, come in. Douluo waved and smiled. Even though Ningrongrong and the others didn't have access to a simulated training ground here, with Xiao Ze's pills and provisions, their cultivation wouldn't lag far behind. Xiao Ze looked at the Ice and Fire Yin-Yang well and walked toward it. Douluo grabbed his wrist. What are you doing? I'm going to temper my body in the well, Xiao Ze replied. He didn't mean to consume the octagonal mysterious ice grass or the fiery apricot. The god of agriculture inside him had extracted some of their energies and used them to refine many pills. The pills weren't as powerful as the original herbs, but there were plenty of them, and the herbs themselves could recover later, nothing wasted. Are you crazy? That place is dangerous, Douluo warned. Don't worry, Grandpa Douluo. If I'm going in, I have my methods, Xiao Ze said. Douluo knew Xiao Ze wasn't reckless, so he agreed. All right, if anything goes wrong, I'll pull you out immediately. Xiao Ze reached the shore of the well. A blazing heat and an icy cold assaulted him from opposite sides. He took 2 pills from his spirit tool, one red, one blue, and swallowed them. 2 distinct energies fused within him. He set his spirit tool down, then jumped into the well. Standing where the cold spring met the fire spring, Xiao Ze's clothes split open, revealing his naked upper body, muscles taut and defined. Ah! Ningrongrong and the others gasped. He has abs! Douluyan reached out, pointing. And look, there are bite marks, Meng Yuran added. Those must be Rongrong's bites, someone teased. Ningrongrong's face went beet red. Damn it, she had bitten him a few days ago, and the marks still hadn't healed. Had she bitten too hard? The girls laughed and teased her. Ningrongrong wanted to burrow into the ground. This is getting ridiculous, Douluo muttered, turning and leaving. He wasn't comfortable lingering. It felt silly for a dignified elder to gawk at a young man's naked chest. In the well, one half of Xiao Ze's skin was glazed with frost, while the other half was scorched crimson. The cold spring chilled him to the bone, invading his meridians and numbing his blood. His breath faltered as ice crystals raced across his skin, even his eyelashes frosted over. He frantically circulated the Shenong Materia Medica, pouring spirit power into resisting the cold. His bones creaked ominously, as if they might shatter. Is he going to be okay? He looks terrible, Douluyan said, worried. He's fine. Xiao Ze only does things when he's confident, Ningrongrong replied, though her worry showed. Inside Xiao Ze, the god of agriculture remained calm. His body was already strong, and with the pills he had refined, resisting the yin-yang well's assault was doable. With the residual energies of the octagonal mysterious ice grass and the fiery apricot, and if Xiao Ze kept his condition steady, there should be no real danger. Just as Xiao Ze was about to freeze solid, the fire spring struck. The ice on his skin vaporized instantly and was replaced by searing heat. Pain flared as his body twisted and reorganized under the furnace-like temperatures, a merciless forging. He bit back a cry and forced himself to stay conscious as his meridians were scoured and impurities burned away. Spirit power surged through him. He began to resist the flames as well. Under the alternating onslaught of ice and fire, his body continuously broke down and rebuilt itself, and with each cycle, it became stronger. Time crept by. The sky darkened. The group took shifts watching him, 2 hours each, while the others rested, afraid something might happen. All right, go rest. I'll take the first watch, Ningrongrong said, shoving the others into the tent. Wake us if anything changes. Got it, they replied. Back in the tent, Ningrongrong sat on the ground and watched Xiao Ze's body change. Her cheeks gradually flushed. Whether it was her imagination or not, his physique seemed to be improving. Too bad the bite marks were disappearing. After several hours, the energies in Xiao Ze balanced. If he returned to the well later, it wouldn't be as severe a challenge, although subsequent results might be slightly diminished. Overall, it had been a success. Xiao Ze opened his eyes. For a fleeting moment, his pupils flashed one red and one icy blue, then the effect faded. He stood and examined his skin, now with a jade-like sheen. The tempering had at least achieved preliminary results. Wrong. Xiao Ze came ashore and, seeing her flushed face, stepped over quickly to check. He touched her forehead. You're not feverish. Feeling the warm familiarity of his touch, Ningrongrong covered her eyes and, without looking, jabbed her right hand toward a specific area of his body. Put some clothes on. Xiao Ze looked down. At that moment, he was completely naked. He gave an embarrassed, sheepish smile, then grabbed his spirit tool, pulled out his clothes, and dressed. In Ningrongrong's mind, a vivid image had formed, that dirty, private part of a boy. It was completely different from hers, and it was as thick as the rolling pin at home. It looked so terrifying. How embarrassing. Xiao Ze had no idea what Ningrongrong was imagining. Otherwise, things would have been even more awkward. Chapter 139. After several months, the ice and fire body refining was completed. After putting on his clothes, Xiao Ze walked over to Ningrongrong and rubbed her head. All right, put your fingers down, he said. Ningrongrong's 5 fingers were splayed wide, as if she weren't covering anything at all. Xiao Ze didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Hey, it's not that I wanted to look. My eyes were actually closed, she stammered, her cheeks flushed as if she might bleed. Yes, I know. Xiao Ze stroked her face indulgently, then sat down beside her and pulled her into his arms. Having shared a bed with Ningrongrong for so long, he'd grown fond of holding something warm to sleep comfortably. Ningrongrong adjusted herself contentedly in his embrace. Xiao Ze, what do you think we should do after the Soul Master competition? She asked. Xiao Ze was momentarily stunned. All their recent cultivation had been for the competition, and afterward there would be a long cool-down period. I want to take you all traveling across the continent, see if we can find any divine inheritance sites, he said. If we don't find anything, we'll go to Sea God Island. Does Sea God Island really have sea god inheritances? Yes, people there have to undergo a trial at 18. Those who pass can stay to serve the sea god. Those who fail are expelled. So it's an assessment from the sea god. There are rewards for success. I see, but if we go there, won't they expel us? Well, it shouldn't be a big problem, but we'll still need a token to enter Sea God Island safely. What token? One of the Heavendu Empire's national treasures, the vast sea cosmic shroud. Xiao Ze didn't hide it. What? The Heavendu Empire's national treasure? Ningrongrong was shocked. A national treasure wasn't something casual. That vast sea cosmic shroud is the sea god's heart. It's very important. Then should I ask Uncle Ning to get it from His Majesty? She asked. Don't, Xiao Ze said, shaking his head. If Uncle Ning goes to ask, it'll be too obvious, and it just isn't appropriate. How will we get it then? It's a national treasure. Either start with the Crown Prince or win the Soul Master competition. Xiao Ze believed Qian Renshui would be able to help if they won the competition. The first option is difficult. The second might be simpler. We're strong now. Aside from Wuhan Academy, there shouldn't be many opponents left. So we have to work hard. Xiao Ze cupped Ningrongrong's cheeks and played with them, shaping them into different expressions. My spirit power is higher than yours, she complained, pushing his hands away. And isn't that because of your spirit bone? You have more spirit bones than I do. Your spirit bone's age limit is higher. You're still at it. Ningrongrong pinched his waist with both hands. All right, I won't say anything more. He rested his chin on her shoulder, and their cheeks touched lightly. Moonlight washed over them like silver water, the night breeze lifting the few stray strands of hair by her ear and brushing his neck. Xiao Ze's palm rested on Ningrongrong's lower abdomen, warmth seeping through the thin fabric. Women often carried a little softness there when sitting, a little belly that could be molded in his hand. He liked that feeling. Her cheeks were soft and faintly fragrant. She tilted her head, and his nose brushed her neck. "Are you cold?" he murmured. "Is it soft?" she asked instead. "Not bad. The texture's quite good." He wasn't itching to touch, but with his hand there, most people couldn't help but pinch. Ning Rongrong's lips curved into a small smile. She closed her eyes and leaned further into him. Moonlight framed their silhouettes. Several months later, Xiao Ze emerged from the ice and fire yin-yang well again. His skin glowed with both ice blue and crimson light, proof that his body had fully absorbed the ice and fire tempering. His spirit power had reached level 40, but his physical strength had advanced even further, close to that of a spirit emperor. Without using spirit power, he could meet a spirit emperor in strength alone. It was an astonishing increase. The others hadn't lagged far behind. With Xiao Ze supplying a large amount of crops and resources, Du Guyan and Ye Lingling had reached levels 48 and 47 respectively. Ning Rongrong had reached level 40. Meng Yiran was at 39. The lowest was Juju King at 35, mainly because she didn't have a spirit bone, so her spirit power lagged behind. Given her age and growth rate, however, she would definitely be a spirit ancestor by the time of the Soul Master competition. Compared with the original timeline, their actual strength was very different. Ju King had not only increased her spirit power, but her physique and mental resilience had been comprehensively strengthened as well. In the later stages, her cultivation would likely accelerate beyond the original work. Everyone's spirit bone and spirit ring age limits had also improved significantly. Xiao Ze's Holy Spirit Spine and his 8 spider lances had both reached 7,000-year limits. He had focused on external spirit bones first because they could gain new effects, whereas improving the skull only increased physical strength, and his physique was already strong enough. His spirit rings had advanced too. He now bore 2 purple rings and 1 black. The others had all reached purple rings. They weren't in a rush to upgrade to 10,000-year spirit rings. That would come in time. The agricultural sprites had improved in quality somewhat, but not dramatically. The lowest had already reached epic level, and pushing them to legendary would be difficult without high-energy feeding items. Xiao Ze had hoped to use the crops they produced themselves, but that hadn't worked. He couldn't exploit that loophole. They would still need powerful external energy sources to raise the sprites further. Beyond cultivation, Xiao Ze's alchemy had reached a new level. He could fully integrate the unique effects of his crops into elixirs, and the combined results were unexpectedly strong, often producing more than the sum of their parts. With these elixirs, their cultivation speed could accelerate even further. As for toxin residues in the elixirs, there were none to worry about. Spirit herbs and medicines grown in the ice and fire yin-yang well, barring those that were inherently poisonous, came with very few impurities. It was a natural, pristine planting ground. His own crops, grown under his spirit's guidance, could not be poisonous either. Yi Lingling had learned from Xiao Ze and had reached a respectable level herself. Integrating crops into elixirs might only succeed once or twice out of 10 attempts for her, but that was already considerable progress. Chapter 140, First Meeting with the Ice and Fire Dragon King. Xiao Ze, are you done? Ning Rongrong asked as she watched him climb out of the ice and fire yin-yang well. Yeah, Xiao Ze replied with a smile as he buttoned his shirt. My ice and fire body tempering went really well. At first, Ning Rongrong had been a little shy about watching him, but after seeing it so often, it no longer embarrassed her. Xiao Ze, however, found being watched dressing by a girl a little awkward. Then can we go get your 4th spirit ring now? Ning Rongrong asked. She had reached level 40 a week before Xiao Ze, but had patiently waited and not claimed her own ring. Xiao Ze, don't go yet. Let's go down to the bottom of the ice and fire yin-yang well. I'll speak with them and see if those 2 dragons will give you their power. If they do, you might not need to obtain 2 of the spirit rings. You could even get their divine bones, the god of agriculture said immediately. God of agriculture, is that possible? Won't they kill me? Xiao Ze felt flustered. He'd read other stories where protagonists managed this feat, but facing dragon souls like those sounded terrifying. They could easily obliterate him. Don't worry, the god of agriculture said. You've been tempering in the well every day. That's like taking a bath right above their heads. They must know you're there. If they wanted to harm you, they'd have destroyed you long ago. All right, Xiao Ze decided. Fortune favors the bold. If this worked, he'd gain spirit rings and divine bones. Xiao Ze, what are you thinking? Ning Rongrong asked. The other girls had followed and gathered on the shore. Their presence had kept him from feeling alone. Rongrong, I might have to go all the way to the very bottom of the well, Xiao Ze said, apologetic. He hated that he had wasted a week of Rongrong's time. The very bottom? Ning Rongrong sounded more curious than disappointed. Yes, from my long cultivation and from the old texts I've studied, this ice and fire yin-yang well is actually the fallen ground of the ice and fire dragon kings. At that, Douluo came over too. You mean 2 dragons died here? You could say that, Xiao Ze replied, but they weren't ordinary dragons. They were dragon kings. Dragon kings are the mightiest of dragonkind. Each dragon king is effectively a god king, among the most powerful divinities. Hiss! Douluo hadn't fully understood what a god king was, but even the idea of a divinity impressed him. That makes sense, someone murmured. But is Xiao Ze in danger? They're god kings, after all. Don't worry, I have a plan, Xiao Ze said, rubbing Rongrong's head. All right then, we'll wait for you here, she said, and the others, fascinated by the idea of meeting gods, stayed on the shore. Xiao Ze would have preferred they leave, but they wouldn't. He could only hope the god of agriculture could persuade the dragons to be merciful. After a brief rest, he returned to the well. The others waited at the surface. Swim down, the god of agriculture instructed. Xiao Ze dove. Just as he neared the bottom, an invisible force seized him and pulled him through the well's barrier. When he opened his eyes, his pupils contracted from the sight. He had entered an independent space. The sky was a chaotic gray-white with no sun, moon, or stars, only a slow aurora of interlaced ice blue and fire-red energies. The ground was not earth, but a mosaic of crystalline ice shards and blazing ember-like rocks. Each step sent ripples across the ice and sparks from the rocks. But what truly stunned him were the 2 colossal dragon skeletons that dominated the landscape, each spanning thousands of meters. The left skeleton was crimson, its bones like polished red jade. Every vertebra seemed to burn with crimson gold flame. Its skull hung low, and the empty eye sockets still held an aura of once majestic power. Drawing nearer, he could feel heat against his skin. The right skeleton was the opposite. Its bones were frosted, rimed with ice crystals that sent a bone-deep chill into the air. Meeting its gaze made Xiao Ze feel his blood slow, as if his body were freezing. How powerful these 2 dragons are, the god of agriculture muttered. As expected of god kings, they can still persist through their dragon souls. At that, the god of agriculture stepped out of Xiao Ze's body. The moment he appeared, 2 streams of light shot from within the dragon skeletons into the air and took shape as 2 enormous illusory figures, the ice and the fire dragon kings. They did not speak. They simply stared at the god of agriculture, trying to see into him. The god of agriculture smiled wryly. Have you stared enough? After a long pause, the ice dragon king's expression shifted to one of guarded curiosity. Which god are you from? You do not carry the aura of a current divine, yet your divine sense is extremely strong. In life, you must have been at least a supreme god king. Xiao Ze's eyes widened. He had known the god of agriculture had been a god king, but he had not expected him to be a supreme god king. In the Douluo world, such power was rare, perhaps only rivaled by dragon gods. He had certainly been bold in his past life. That's right, I'm not from this god realm, the god of agriculture said. My realm was destroyed in a great war. I died, and since then my divine tool and I have drifted here. I see, the fire dragon king said. Your god realm must have been powerful. It was not that great. Though I was a supreme god king, I wasn't particularly skilled at combat. The god of agriculture's tone was matter of fact. Xiao Ze felt a little indignant on his behalf. Not skilled at combat, yet able to shatter a divine tool? He kept that to himself. The Ice Dragon King peered at Xiao Ze curiously. Is this body of yours a body of merit? Yes, the god of agriculture answered. It is a body of merit. The Ice Dragon King nodded. Excellent. I've never seen a body of merit before. Merit is far harder to obtain than faith. Forming a body of merit is even more difficult. If not for this merit, I might not have persisted until now, the god of agriculture replied. There was a hint of relief in his voice. My death was more complete than yours. Why did your god realm fall to war? The Fire Dragon King asked. Why indeed? The god of agriculture's tone grew resigned. Everything began from self-interest. Gods are powerful beings, but they are still subject to the same desires as mortals. The two dragons nodded in agreement, then turned their attention to Xiao Ze. He felt his heart race. After all, these were god kings. You are inhabiting this young man's body now, the Fire Dragon King said. Do you wish to revive here in this god realm? Revive? The god of agriculture hesitated. Actually, I haven't decided yet.